vehicle
Hola.
that most of the law enforcement agencies have around.
What's up, guys? What's up? Welcome, welcome.
The sheriff's department. It may be on the way, and it seems to me that that would be the easiest way to be able to take a peek inside the front window of the vehicle without endangering police officers' lives here. Maybe that's on the way. I'm not quite sure. It's a wait-and-see game at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm sure that traffic is pretty heavy right now. So, these officers or
what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. How are you doing? Hope you guys had a good day today. And there's apparently a standoff, man. I was sitting here kind of researching, not kind of researching, just wanting to do an update on the situation with the pregnant woman and the boyfriend. And when this came across my screen, I was like, oh, crap, we got to check this out. An apparent standoff. I think it initially was like a pursuit. Then it's like the standoff. It's completely surrounded. So yeah, let's just check out what's going on. This is in Texas.
Is waving
at
the officers down below. Now, we have not been able to see that because of our position here, which we have to hold because this is a police action and the police helicopter is up here. So we've got to stay where we are. But apparently, he's waving at the officers through the window.
Wow.
Oh, got it. Okay, so John just giving us some new information that he just got wind of as the sheriff's deputy is flying up above, not too far from where ABC 13 Sky Eye is. So yes, I guess if this person is waving, maybe some sort
let's just stay here, Dan.
Surrender.
Yeah, update the thumbnail.
To say, hey, this is
what's up, man? How you guys doing, Miss Buddha, Sarah? What's up? What's up? Beetle, Mike S, Remy, Luffy, and also Mo somewhere. I think I saw Mo. Shylock, what's up, man?
And waving at officers. Officers, of course, still have to be very meticulous and approach this in a very safe manner because just because this person is waving and
hi, come to me, please. Hi.
With their lives and make sure that this is not some sort of
I need help.
to try to get them closer and then something can happen from there.
And the window looks kind of weird too.
Scoping around the area with this.
And you know, it's Texas. Texas don't play.
Businesses and employees are sort of stepping out.
What city? That's a good question.
What's going on? Which it's natural, folks. Trying to figure out why there's a lot of traffic and why I'm sure they're hearing two choppers now.
Yeah.
ABC 13's chopper and the sheriff's deputies.
It's Texas, baby. Oh, they cut the audio feed for some reason. I want to see too if I could get some see if there's any kind of scanner audio going on. And let me see what these people are saying here too. We need to get this feed out. Looks like suspect rammed the patrol car with the semi. Oh. Salute to this guy. $18-wheeler standoff. It better not be, yeah, let me try to find out what city this is in. Let me see if I see this guy, what he has to say. Harris County. I want to see if we can see him waving in there too. Oh, doesn't it look like the wheel's accelerating? Oh, it's muted. Muted.
Doug says
the wheel's spinning.
Doug would know too. Doug's on the assignment
Doug
desk.
back there,
Doug
yes.
has been watching this for over an hour. Doug is
all my exes live in Texas like I'm Georgia Straight.
Talk to
yeah, it's spinning.
Assignment desk.
Why is it spinning?
He's constantly listening to scanners, looking at social media. We have the best assignment desk in the business here at KTRK. They're always on top of the latest breaking news and doing fantastic stuff. Yeah, go ahead, Myra. You're seeing some interesting stuff.
So we're and I know Don is trying to show us the driver, so you can slightly see the person there behind the wheel, but you can't really make out too much. It's still a little fuzzy from what we tried to see. But
talking about fantastic work, Don's maneuvering of a camera here. Don, what's your altitude?
What is our altitude, Dan? Dan McCarthy's our pilot this afternoon. Dan, what's our altitude? We're at 800 feet now. We lowered down a little bit. I will tell you that the Sheriff's Department Able 1 helicopter has left. So apparently they don't feel that they need any air traffic up here from air support from the Sheriff's Department. It looks like paintballs were used to try to bust that window
Oh, is that what that is? Okay,
on the
okay.
side so they would have a better view of him, but they don't. We do. We can see him sitting in there and really not moving. So and I'm going to show you while I'm here the scene out here. Again, this is I-10, the Baytown East Freeway, heading eastbound. You would go to Baytown or to Beaumont, and all the freeway lanes are shut down out here at Sheldon. And there is the backup. There's the
wow! Look at
there.
that traffic.
So you can tell that all of the traffic really
no.
should be using the Beltway to get around this. But as far as the eye can see, traffic is stopped out here, both east and westbound, because
They put
you
out a
really
little
don't know what's
story.
going to happen, and you don't want to endanger the inbound or westbound traffic coming in from Baytown. Quite a scene.
Yeah, it really is. And we were trying to figure that out earlier. Is that paintball gun that was used, or what happened there? Because 1 minute everything seemed fine, the next you're zooming into it, and we're trying to figure out how that all came
Myra, we're
about.
going to jump over to Doug, who's been monitoring traffic. And Doug, this is a traffic nightmare.
Weekend for some people getting ready to take a long weekend for the New Year's holiday. So this is indeed a major traffic situation going on there. Again, just to reset the scene of where we are, if you're coming from Houston, headed out towards the East Sam Houston Tollway, once you get through that traffic, as you approach the tollway, you're going to want to take the tollway, the Beltway, the Sam Houston Parkway, to go either south down towards Highway 225 and make your way east there, or take the Beltway and go north up to Highway 90 and navigate your way east around this, as the East Freeway is shut down in both directions, just east of Sheldon. So this is east of the Beltway. You're just past Dale, just past Sheldon there. If you're familiar with that intersection, there's a number of businesses in that area that obviously seeing some traffic impact of that as folks are on the feeder road there trying to get by, trying to squeeze by on this. But the truck itself is on the east.
I was sharing out the story. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. I think this was like a pursuit. It looked like maybe one of the vehicles was rammed. Now it's this current standoff. The news was saying that this guy was reportedly waving out the window. Just kind of a nutty, I guess. I don't know, man. Right? We're getting closer and closer to 2024. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I was researching a little bit of the story we covered yesterday, and this kind of popped up unexpectedly on my feed, so I just jumped on,
all the way down through Baytown, and you can go east there. So now, if you have family that's coming into the city, if you're watching on the ABC 13 app right now, and you're headed inbound, coming back into the city from your holiday week, you're going to find traffic being shut down there at Magnolia. So you've just crossed the river, making that little curve there close to Magnolia, and that's where the freeway is shut down. So you're going to need to find alternates out in that direction there as you're coming inbound. Folks can get off and take North Main, and if you haven't made it out to the river yet, if you're still in the Baytown area, you can take North Main and take that all the way down to 330, and that'll put you back on 146 and make your way into the city there. Or if you're further east and you're approaching Highway 99, highly suggesting getting on Highway 99 and take it around until you can clear this situation, this ongoing situation that Sky has been giving us the wonderful video of. Unfortunately, is still ongoing. Freeway shut down in both directions, and we're still waiting to hear information from the Sheriff's Department as far as what exactly is going on out there.
Doug, you are quite the traffic anchor there.
I think you have a new calling, Myra.
Oh, that was pretty good. I've been a Houstonian.
I had to channel my best,
life.
channeling my best Elisa Rivas, trying to explain what's going on out here.
Fantastic. Listen, I'm terrible when it comes to traffic, even though I've lived in the city for so long. Don't ask me for directions, okay?
I wanted to show this picture from a trans-tar camera, Doug and Myra, because this is I-10 East at Cedar Lane. This is a sight you don't see very often. Both lane, the entire freeway completely shut down, completely empty, and just the mess of traffic trying to exit there. And then on the far left side of your screen, you can see them blocking the entrance ramp. But we really can't understate the traffic nightmare this is the bottom.
Yes, it's going to be terrible. And again, it's a holiday week, so there's probably some folks that are not working this week, but still, people are going out and shopping and probably coming in and out of town and expecting relatives. If you're stuck in the middle of this, I hate to say it, but you're going to be there for a long, long time. There's just no way out of that. And we know when a situation like this happens, it takes at least several hours for traffic to get flowing back to normal, if you will. And I use quotations because we will have rush hour here in a couple of hours, and just the pains of living in a big city, unfortunately. So again, we're just waiting to see the outcome of all of this. It's been going on for quite some time. About 12:40 is when Doug was telling us they started to hear scanner chatter. That's what we call it here in the business.
Scanner chatter. I wonder how this is spinning.
Police, EMS, and the choppers for law enforcement and what have you. So we hear this chatter of some chase giving way is
by the way, guys,
that law enforcement use. And so
apparently a Bearcat is en route. Ooh, they're bringing the big boys. Bearcat is en route. That was 10 minutes ago.
We're just getting, in fact, I'm just seeing it now. Thanks, guys. This tweet coming in from Sheriff Ed Gonzalez here, Myra. There it is on the screen. Units, pretty much what we knew already there, Myra, but a little bit of new information.
Yeah, just a little bit more. And again,
hey, Elsa, how you doing?
It takes a while before we get the exact details of a situation, because just as we're making calls, the Sheriff's Department is working their angles and what they have to do cautiously.
Yeah. And you said it correctly earlier, too. It takes time sometimes to figure these things out.
It does.
Even for the folks there who are there on scene, you don't necessarily have direct contact with the driver here, so you don't know if there was a medical issue or some other thing happening. So it just takes time, and certainly for those who are joining us, we appreciate your patience. As Myra was saying, this started as a low-speed chase. We did have, we're working on turning that clip for you here so you can see just how slow it was going, and then it just sort of ended there on the far left shoulder of the eastbound lanes, right, Doug? Yeah.
Just to jump in real quick regarding the information coming from the Sheriff's Department, many of the situations that we deal with is usually a phone call to dispatch saying I need help, a 911 call of something going on. In this case, which we don't know exactly, we don't know if deputies came across this and tried to initiate a stop, or if there were folks calling into the Sheriff's Department to say, hey, there's a situation going on and deputies need to come out there. But whatever the situation is, at this point, it has kept the dispatch office from having a great amount of detail to provide to us at this point. But obviously, they're providing what we were able to tell you so far regarding the shutdown and the active situation of what's going on here. But that is something that as commanders are on,
I gotta show you guys something too.
Provide more information back to the command central.
Okay, so I see there's like a video clip feed on Twitter, and it kind of shows and it gives us some context as to how this thing came to a stop. I'm going to show this, and also was saying that law enforcement shut down the East Freeway eastbound on Sheldon Surround 18-wheeler. What appeared to be a slow-speed chase involving an 18-wheeler has come to an end along the East Freeway from Houston TransStar cameras. You can see the big rig slowly move along the I-10. Let me show you something else here. I'm going to show you this clip right here, which is really kind of interesting to see. Okay. You see that? Oh, I think I almost have to take myself off the screen. They got a spike strip on them because it was going so slow. Wow. right, so let's talk about it too. So this is really interesting. Let me just pause it for a second, make sure we're not missing anything live. No, it's just still a standoff, but I was just kind of giving you guys a little bit of context. One of my friends was saying, because what do you guys, what is the deal with this semi truck, right? And what do you think is in that semi truck? One of my friends was thinking I'd put money on it being a coyote or a drug mule. Money is on drugs. Sadly, when they're standing off with that truck, about 20 million in dope drove right past them. I don't know. Yeah, immigrants or drugs in that truck. There was that a while back. I mean, I guess it happens all the time. There was like this huge truck that had a whole bunch of immigrants and in really poor conditions, you know. I thought some of them died, right? I thought there were a few of them that were dead or something. So this is gives us a little bit of a visual before they came to a complete stop. But I don't know. But the whole thing too, where the news media is saying that this guy was waving at police, right? Why would he be waving at police? Is there an element of drugs or whatever in this? All right, let's see what's going on. Let's see back live.
With us on abc13.com. In about 9 minutes or so, I have to do what we call a cut-in, which is basically we cut into programming and we update folks at home via TV, the latest headlines and news, and of course, with the situation going on,
semi-truck surrounded.
Our top story that we will inform everyone at home if they're watching.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
ABC TV, not abc13.com. So we appreciate you guys for joining us here, whether it's on your phone, if you're streaming with us, and whatnot. So here with me now, my colleague, Nick Notario. He's suiting up, if you will, plugging into our microphone and all that good stuff so that you can...
All right, so let me see what you guys are saying in the chat while we wait. What's up, Hoax? What's up, man? How you doing? How's your holidays? How's Monster? Smuggling cold beer.
I mean, Nick, we've seen these situations before. Right. And again,
yeah, recently there was an 18-wheeler chase, not about a month ago?
Last month, it was November 8th, I believe.
We didn't catch that? Did we watch that?
Because that one, the truck, the cab was moving all around and everything. This one's just kind of stationary here for a while.
Yeah, and so this person has been behind the wheel of the 18-wheeler for at least about an hour or so since we first saw that they sort of parked, if you will, on the side here of the East Tex Freeway and has, according to the sheriff's office, refused to come out. That's from a tweet that he just sent out not long ago. But again, we've been talking about this, Nick, and we don't know the exact situation. Right. If maybe this person had some sort of medical episode and can't get out.
There were like 50 immigrants that died. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. The semi-trailer in Texas.
I was told the wheels were
2022.
Yes.
The 18-wheeler was
wow. What's up, B? What's up, Deb? Free.
I don't know if they're still spinning.
It may have burned out. Nope.
Yeah, it's spinning.
Oh, yeah. So the wheel is still spinning there. Yeah. So that's why it could possibly be a medical episode, maybe.
Possibly.
That, but you said that there was someone posted on social
medical
media
episode
that the driver won't come out.
The sheriff's department. So if we can read this tweet for you once again, if you're just joining us here on abc13.com, a lot going on. So we want to bring you up to speed. This is the tweet here. So this is Sheriff Ed Gonzalez. He says units are on the eastbound, outbound main lanes of the East Tex Freeway, which is what we have been seeing for the past hour and a half. This is at the 15,900 block just east of Sheldon. He says units were pursuing, and
Vibes, what's up?
At a very low rate of speed, an 18-wheeler that was refusing to stop. That's where that information comes from. He says the driver has now parked on the main lanes and is refusing to exit. Again, coming from the sheriff. He says all lanes in both directions are temporarily shut down. So again, an extremely huge traffic nightmare that probably will not end anytime soon.
Is that the main lanes, though? Where is that? Is that a shoulder?
They parked on the shoulder now, but initially started in the main lanes.
Okay.
Yeah. So now both sides are blocked off, and we've been seeing a lot of the deputies standing off to the side, sort of just waiting. But you see one of the patrol cars, 1140 here. You see it there, and you have the officers sort of just standing behind and waiting.
Sorry about that.
They have to assess the situation.
Yeah, I wonder if they think he's armed or anything.
Come on in.
Sorry, Mario, we were going to have you go to the studio and do that cut-in.
Oh, the cut-in. Yes.
We'll have you come back just as soon
Okay.
as you're done.
All right, guys. So I'm unplugging and I'm doing this breaking into programming. So Nick.
Okay, that's okay if you do, Keaton. If you step in front with some breaking news,
I think.
All right, so we do have we got some new video that was just in the newsroom here of the end of the chase. So
are they watching me?
Pull that video up right now. You're taking another live look of the situation. But okay, I see the video here now. We're going to put it over here on the screen. There it is, right there. So this is video again of the end of the chase that happened not too long ago. You can see the authorities, and they had posted on social media that they were chasing this 18-wheeler at a slow rate of speed. You can see it right there on the screen as that 18-wheeler is coming to
there we go. That's cool. We get another view.
To an end, as we know it did, because it's parked on the East Tex Freeway. So this, this is the end of that chase. You can see there's the 18-wheeler there in the shoulder of the freeway, and you can see the sheriff vehicles, the deputies trailing it. And so again, this is our new video that just came into the newsroom, and you can see the wheels down there in front of the cab. Also,
look at that, all the way down.
It appears to be the wheels are down in the other part of the cab.
Left.
As well as the sheriff deputies are chasing this video. And is this the first time that you're seeing this video, Keaton?
This is the video that we were seeing. I'm so sorry. I grabbed Myra's mic, but I wasn't sure if it was on. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Nick, this was what we were seeing just as Sky Eye was coming up to the scene a little earlier. And the reason that we wanted to show this to you was a couple of reasons. I mean, number one, you see that there was a time where traffic on the other side of the freeway was flowing. Mm-hmm. It was slow, but it was flowing for sure. And even when they got it to a complete stop, it took a minute or two for it to actually be completely closed down. Yeah. But it also sort of demonstrates the unusual nature of what happened here. We saw the semi, this was sort of the angle we got as we were coming up to it. Very slow, certainly didn't seem aggressive or going all over the lanes, but it also had that sense that it just was sort of moving along and just without any input from the driver. Is what it certainly seemed like there for a little bit until the wheel cut too hard, and then we could see the back wheels continuing to spin, which of course has been a great question for us about how or why that particular thing was
spinning.
Happening.
I don't get that.
But it had gone on for long enough that they were able to clear the freeway in that way and get everybody off in front of it, and then clear it there behind as well. So,
and I'm just walking in. Do you know how long this chase has been going on?
We've been on this for about an hour and a half.
Okay.
Doug, the extraordinaire, has been listening to this thing for some time. He's talking with the chopper now, but he has been overhead and been listening to this for probably, I'd say, about 2 hours now.
Okay.
And trying to figure out exactly what was going on and where this thing was going. But it's just unusual on so many levels. Mm-hmm. It's the perfect breaking news Houston story that we see here so often. Because not only does it involve a chase of some kind, or at least a pursuit, it seemed, but it's that of a semi. And now we have a situation where we just don't have much of a conclusion yet, and don't have a lot of information either, Nick.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Mama.
I know Myra talked about whether he may have had a medical episode because the wheels were spinning.
Right.
So we don't know that. And we are... as you mentioned, waiting to find out more questions. We have more questions than answers, I guess.
Yeah, the medical episode, I'm having a hard time because they supposedly said he was waving at the cops and stuff. Mustard Mama, thank you so much for the membership. Says, I'd steal the truck too. Merry Christmas. And somebody earlier, let me just get this. If you guys could hit the like button to it, I appreciate that. We're just getting warmed up. There was this slow speed chase in Texas, Harris County, I believe. And it looks like they used spike strips, and this thing came to a complete halt. People have kind of been speculating and wondering, is there drugs? Is there immigrants? Is there a medical episode or mental health, blah, blah, blah. The list of whatever goes on and on and on, right? Lady Trucker, thank you for the 10. Says, holy crap, Mel, good afternoon. Damn, the damage on that unit, right? I'm going to pull up a picture and show a close-up of it. Sarah, thank you for the 6 months. Michelle, thank you for the 7 months. And Jennifer, thank you for the 4 months. Houston about to mess around and find out. There's a lot of stuff going on in Texas.
It's creeping into Baytown.
It's creeping into Baytown.
Yeah.
That's how many miles of backup we're talking about right now. And then taking a look too at the live pictures from TransStar. This is a camera from I-10 East at Cedar Lane. This is one that we've been watching for a little while because I've been watching the folks in the bottom right corner because they have not moved, Nick. I mean, they have been sitting there for a very long time because even though the side streets are open, you can drive on the feeder roads.
Right.
It just there are so many cars You can see the folks are
Dina,
out of the
thank you
cars.
for the membership.
Just, hopefully meeting some of their fellow Houstonians. Hey, how you doing? Are you stuck in this? Yeah, so am I. And just there's nowhere to go.
How far away is that?
I mean, this was Cedar Lane was, I'd say, a mile, maybe half a mile away. You can see the Sheldon Road exit there.
Oh, okay. I see.
Our reporting is that it is shut down at Sheldon. So it's a little ways from that, but both the on-ramp on the other side, the far left of your screen is closed, and then obviously all of the backup you're seeing there on the right-hand side. Sometimes in my head I imagine you see the guy on the cell phone there, just above the sign, just above the 783. He's getting back in his car now. Hey, boss, look at TV. This is why I'm late for work. This is a real mess.
And you hope it works for him as he drives.
I really hope it does.
Well, just send him the ABC 13 link, and you should be okay.
We have done stories in the past of people who said, we've asked them, hey, why were you filming on your phone the thing that was happening? And the response was, well, I had to tell my boss why I was going to be late for work. And certainly a reasonable excuse, I would imagine. Nick, I want to go back to that tape just briefly, and I'm not sure if we have the longer clip or not yet. It's still coming in. That's just fine.
I know, right? What's inside the truck?
Again, just trying to describe for folks who may just be joining us here on the stream, 2:23 our time, another 30 minutes before we go live on the news at 3. How bizarre this crash, this chase really was from the beginning, and now we're still waiting for some sort of a conclusion.
And, the sheriff's office, bizarre in the fact that you're talking about an 18-wheeler.
Right.
How slow the chase was.
Exactly, right.
And now, do they usually have both sides of the freeway shut down?
That's what's really unusual here. Yeah. And it obviously there's an abundance of caution that the folks are using. We were seeing that tweet just a moment ago.
All right, so they're replaying.
With officers out of their vehicle.
Apparently they have left the area, so Fox has a live feed. I think this particular channel that we're watching now is just kind of replaying and also using the highway cameras. So let's pull up KHO used there too, though. That's nice. All right, so let's have a couple of sources of feed, and we'll pull up Houston for now.
Kind of on the ground, but whenever we have a scene like this, we know that they can call in other agencies to bring in their SWAT
and the
teams.
Bearcat, for the people that just joined, supposedly Bearcat's on the way. So I'm wondering too what they plan to do with this Bearcat. I mean, are they just going to use it to get up close to the semi truck, pull right up on it, maybe take a look inside, or try to peep from like the side of the Bearcat? Or are they going to try to shoot stuff inside of this vehicle? Earlier they said, too, that supposedly they were shooting... I don't know why I heard paintball gun. I'm not sure why they would shoot a paintball, but I guess they were trying to shoot at the window or something.
Camera at I-10 East at Cedar Lane, really making things safer for them as they try to get this thing come to a close, but also they've got to reroute traffic here to make sure they can do their jobs. So Abigail had a couple issues, but we're going to be on the ground here momentarily. And as soon as we get her camera up and she's got some more details from folks on the ground, because whenever a situation like this is unfolding, a lot of the times too, witness accounts, that goes into a lot of our reporting as well. So we're hoping to get a chance to speak to some folks on the ground.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing, several folks that probably work in this area. That are, out kind of looking around. So I'm sure she'll be trying to talk to some of them about what they saw, about what happened.
And if you're just joining us, kind of give you guys a brief recap here of how this all took place. So this is the basically I-10 eastbound, just east of Sheldon. According to Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, the units were pursuing at a low rate an 18-wheeler that was refusing to stop. The driver has now parked on the main lanes and refuses to come out of that car. So police also told us that they were using spike strips. And if we give you guys a closer look, you can't see, might not be able to have the best vantage point from this far out, but when we zoom into that 18-wheeler, you can see the spike strips basically popped several tires on the front, and all you see is the rims there on the front portion of the 18-wheeler. So this
Harris County,
to an end. Whether police have to go in and take this driver out, or the driver decides to come out on their own volition, that's going to happen.
We're finally getting a picture now from Skyfox, a little wider, seeing some of the traffic. This is a good sign. We're seeing a little more traffic moving around the area, because there was a time when we weren't seeing any traffic move at all.
Anything. And we have tons of phone calls out. We reached out to Channelview, PD, or HPD, any source that you think of, we have reached out, and everyone's keeping things pretty close to the chest right now. But as soon as we get some more details, we'll let you guys know, because a lot of our, we're just kind of assessing the scene with you guys here in real time. And, you know, if you know someone that works in any of these buildings at this deluxe inn and suites here, if you know someone that works there, have them give us a call. We would love to talk to someone that's on the ground there. Let us know what the scene is at some of these businesses that are, by all accounts, still functioning. They didn't plan on having a situation like this where they won't be able to conduct business as usual, but we have seen people on the ground, so we know that people are at these places of employment. So if you know someone that's there, or if you're there now and you're watching on fox26houston.com or even on Fox Local, you want to give us a call, let us know what's going on, what you can see, what you can assess.
That's so hard. Thank you for the membership. Please
do that as well. This is Guy Fox on the opposite side of I-10 here, giving us a different vantage point.
Yeah, this is the closest that we've seen. He was on the cab just a second ago. Hopefully there we go. So that's kind of the closest view we have had of the cab so far, but it's still so difficult. You can't really see in through the windows to see, you know, what may be going on inside or who's inside. Now there's a, let's see if we can get the name of, there's a website.
I wonder too.
I think it was designtransport.net.
Okay, and then there's another design logo there.
Yeah, transport. So I'm going to kind of get on the internet here and do some digging myself. So Design Transport, okay. Just heading to the website that was on this cab. It says Design Transport opened in 1989 with a single truck.
Don't really see any movement either.
Out. It's not exactly clear.
Okay, so yeah, I'm wondering, to me, is it possible there's a second person in the truck? Or is that maybe a reflection?
Well, you know, sometimes,
we don't know.
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
I don't want to make a call on what may or may not.
Yeah.
But it does look like that thing was shot on the side.
We're getting the first sign. See the green on the window?
Yeah.
That's probably from the green smoke, we have to assume. And you can see that window is broken. So yeah, I wonder if that was them throwing a you know, a green smoke bomb into the cab, and they did it 3 times. And you can see there are green spots on the roof of the cab as well. And gosh, you can see you know, when you look closely at that. That's just the rim of the tire that's left.
Right.
Completely flat.
So. All right. So that really helped us. That gave us a nice. This seems to be another member of law enforcement with a little bit more tactical gear. That is the first time I've seen someone outside of the traditional.
I don't think the glass is actually broken.
Seems to be.
I think they try to shoot at it.
A member of the SWAT team or another negotiator. That's the first time I've seen someone in that uniform since we've started. Have you seen that? Right, that's the first time.
No, yeah, that is absolutely the first time, because we haven't seen a lot of boots on the ground. It's just been a lot of vehicles. But perhaps this is someone that you're right, could be a negotiator or someone who's going to approach that cab to try and move this situation forward in some direction.
And when you think about it, if you look at the green, if we go back to the green smoke and what's happening at the front, that's probably step one. You know what I mean? Trying to at least make it uncomfortable for the driver inside that cab so they can come out, you know, because as you know, any officer that wakes up and goes to work in the morning, they certainly don't think about discharging their firearms or being in some high, you know, some very dangerous situations. They know the nature of the job, but you know, research has shown many officers never, you know, begin and end their career without ever firing their weapon. So this effort to get this cab, the driver of this cab, to come out is step one. It's a safe option by all accounts. If they're having difficulty breathing, you naturally come out. This thing comes to an end. Which
makes me again wonder if there was a, you know, if the person is in some sort of medical condition, that, you know, I don't know if we're still seeing that tire spin that their foot was on. We're just getting word from our producer that that we put in a phone call to the name of the business that's on the side of the truck, but they immediately responded, no comment, and hung up.
No comment. What?
So they're probably getting a few calls at this point.
Why no comment?
And we don't know, you know, whether this company has any involvement or if it was just their truck that's being used
by the
So and we haven't learned anything from the sheriff's office about who this may be on the truck, what the original issue was for the attempted traffic stop, and what led to the chase.
And as I'm looking at the website here for designtransport.net, which is the website that is, you know, all over the truck here, the 18-wheeler, they're out of Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that at least gives us a little bit more information that it's
They got a lot of good reviews.
Texas-based company, organization. They've been in business for more than 30 years. Employ, according to the website here, they started out as a small family-owned business in 1989, and their company has grown to more than 100 tractors and more than 253 of these trailers. So small beginnings, humble beginnings, certainly have grown their business. But again, we don't know if this driver is working directly with this company. We don't know if this trailer may have been stolen. We just want to give you guys that information at the very least, that this is we researched the name of the company just based on the website that is on this 18-wheeler, and that's what we came up with. They're out of Dallas, Texas. We did place a phone call, like you heard Heather mention. Our team
That's
behind the
interesting.
scenes are doing what they can to get us some more information, and as soon as they picked up the phone call and we tried to get some more information, they stated no comment.
No comment and hung up.
Yeah.
We're just getting another tweet from Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, but really it's information for us in the media, saying that the media partner staging area will be eastbound Service Road near the Fairfield Marriott, just east of Sheldon. Again, 15,800 block of East Freeway. So, you know, as we were discussing, it's going to be hard for our Abigail Dye to get close to the scene. It always is in a situation like this where they have, you know, the public blocked off for safety, obviously, and so that they can deal with the scene. But of course, we want to be able to get our boots on the ground so we can find out the very latest about what exactly is happening, so that we can inform you as you're watching this. I'm sure people, you know, living in this area are concerned seeing this, you know, not too far, and the people that work in this area, you know, watching this unfold. You know, the only thing that's making us feel a little better is, you know, there doesn't seem to be a sense of panic.
Right.
And, you know, you can tell by watching the officers move around that they're moving.
We got 375 people on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook, for coming through as well. And we got 34, almost 3,500 on YouTube. I appreciate that. If you guys could hit the like button, I'd appreciate that. I don't know what's going on here, man. I don't think medical condition. I mean, part of me is leaning to just the nut, just a nut. But I don't know, Texas with the immigration stuff and the drug stuff, you know, I don't know. Imagine that whole back of that truck's filled with, like, you know, immigrants or something, or illegal or whatever, you know. Imagine it's full. I really want to know what's in the back of that truck. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's empty. I mean, we had a chase the other day where somebody, I think it was the other day, somebody stole that box truck in Cali. But the whole thing was empty. I don't know if they were hoping that there was something in the back and it just turned out to be empty. And also, for the people that just joined, there's supposed to be, according to somebody on Twitter, supposed to be a Bearcat coming out. So I'm wondering if they're just kind of waiting for the Bearcat. And I wonder if it's just one or two, and what's the strategy? Are they just going to pull up next to it? And that window, I don't think they pierced that window. It looks like there's some type of green thing. I don't know, green smoke something. I don't think they actually penetrated that window. That window seems pretty strong. And at one point they said the driver was like waving. And the location of this, because I saw a few times people were asking, like, where is this located? Where is this located? Supposedly this is on the I-10. I believe both sides of the freeway are shut. East Freeway at Sheldon. I guess there's like an exit. It's right by an exit. Sheldon. That's what they're saying.
Foot is just on the gas, you know, spinning, and that, you know, may indicate that, you know, perhaps that person is not able to exit.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Maybe that's why after the 3 green smoke
Yeah,
bombs,
that's a good
we
point.
didn't see any activity there either.
That's a good point.
But we don't know that yet. And again, we don't know anything about who that person is, or if there is perhaps more than one person on this truck.
And as I am looking at the bottom corner of the screen again, as those employees, as far as I can tell, at least 2 officers there are members in tactical units. They're having conversation with some of the people there on the ground that may work at this business. That black truck, the lights are off, but they had police lights on earlier. So it seems as though
like the guy was waving. I feel like if this was like, I don't know, some cartel thing or whatever, why would he be waving and kind of like at the police, right? Maybe he'd go out in a blaze of glory or just give himself up or whatever, but why wave at them? You know?
Yeah,
because that would definitely be an indicator that officers are about to move in, and they want to make sure that everyone is safely far away from the immediate situation. But by all accounts, we have now entered, I believe, a different phase of this standoff. It's been going on now. The time we are approaching the 3 o'clock hour. It's 2:38 here in the afternoon on the 27th. If you're just joining us here, this is an 18-wheeler that led police on a chase. You're looking at I-10 eastbound, and both the east and westbound lanes are shut down. The feeder road on the side, Heather was on air when this thing broke. We were on fox26houston.com and all of our digital platforms, including Fox Local, and we had some activity on the feeder road. Officers were still allowing cars to slowly but surely get through the feeder road. So as we've been assessing the scene here in the last 15 minutes or so, we no longer see cars making their way through this feeder road. But we have seen more members of law enforcement in tactical gear arrive at the scene here in the last 15 minutes or so, and they're having conversations. We now have a K9 on the ground as well, and you can continue to see members of the constable's office there still on the scene. Now we have at the bottom of your screen 2 black trucks. These are police units as well, unmarked, and we also have another member of a tactical unit in the back seat. And we're paying close attention to this group of people here that work at some of these businesses, because this is a very industrial area that I've seen.
It is. You know, we saw that there's a hotel right next door, and then we've seen stacks of shipping containers.
Yeah.
So some sort of, transport business, that you can see just the containers there stacked up. So we don't know, what kinds of things that they deal with, but
the situation, honestly, like it's a lot of unknowns. We're trying to read the tea leaves, if you will, as we kind of watch.
Let's see if I can show you. What happened?
Yeah.
You guys here. And like I said earlier, if you know someone that is employed at any of these businesses, or if you are the person there watching,
you got to see them in action.
Houston.com from your cell phone, and you want to give us a call, we would love to hear from what you guys have to say.
It's like these armored trucks. It's on the screen.
We have our Abigail Dye, who is on the way here. We are, waiting to hear from her, because obviously being that I-10 is shut down in both directions, we ran into some, we have to take the long route, if you will, to get to the scene. But once we get her camera fired up, we will be sure to bring you guys an account from what's happening on the ground, because Heather and I could do our best here from the air, thanks to Skyfox. But a lot of the times, too, in situations like these, the reporting on the ground
Jennifer, what's up?
sometimes
Pam,
gives
what's
you
up?
a stronger
Brady,
indicator
hola.
of what's happening.
And is this,
Jojo,
I'm
how you
looking
been?
here at the lower left side of the screen, is this, appears like maybe a tent or something that they're kind of putting up outside one of the unmarked law enforcement, the black SUV there. And we've seen just a couple of vehicles kind of moving into this area of this business. And it looks like that one constable vehicle has come back onto the scene. But again, this has we've just been watching them kind of reposition themselves as we're anticipating seeing, what will happen next here. But just the arrival of those tactical officers, and we did see a dog up in the, it was up in the upper left side.
Yeah, the K9 officers on the scene too. And
we've
seen throughout our career, Heather, I know we've both seen many of these standoff situations. Obviously, the first agency on the ground trying to make contact with the drivers, the constable's office here trying to make contact, and then we had the green smoke that came out of the front portion of the cab. We assume that was potentially some gas of some sort to encourage the driver, who we are unaware if it's male or female, encourage the driver to come out. That has not happened. Now we start to see more members of the tactical units arrive on scene, but we also have These members of law
leg
enforcement
emoji?
also have another line of defense, if you will. We talk
Or
about
Ekimo's leg
the
should've done.
robots and some of the machinery they're able to use, and we haven't seen that
This guy's
as of
running.
yet.
Them
Now
run.
you see right here, we just had this member in tactical gear run from this unit over here with his weapon.
Viewers can't see that we're standing in front of a very large screen
Right.
of all of this being projected, so that Anthony and I can see, as close as possible, exactly what's happening here. But so we're over here, kind of watching this giant screen, just like you are watching it either on your phone or at home.
Yeah. And I mean, this member of law enforcement that's now, he has taken over the position here. Like, he is now making his own assessment. I'm going to be interested to see if he remains at this vehicle, kind of waving off one of the members of the of local law enforcement. It seems as though he is now taking
Ronan, what's up, man? See you later.
position.
Tapster, Merry Christmas.
But the scene has definitely expanded.
Yeah, and you can see here in the middle, this is where the canine officer is right now. They just brought the canine officer in, about 20 minutes or so ago. And we don't know, whether they're planning to use the canine officer as their next steps.
But that was recently one of the chases that we covered. I think it was the box truck. They sent the canine in, and the canine, when the guy, I guess, opened the door, the canine got inside, but he actually fought off the canine. That shit went back out the truck after the guy was like fighting relentlessly. Walkabout Bridge, thank you so much for the super chat. 1111. So there was an actual traffic stop. The truck just didn't start rolling. Happy holidays to you, Mel, and all this wonderful community you've created. Thank you. I don't know what made them pursue this guy. According to the sheriff, Ed Gonzalez, he said that units were pursuing at a low rate of speed an 18-wheeler that was refusing to stop. The driver has now parked on the main lanes and is refusing to exit. So,
you've been working.
I mean, that's what I'm wondering too. Like, is this a stolen vehicle? And so the news called the trucking company, and the trucking company just said no comment. Which I wish they would have kind of given some information. But sometimes with these companies, and I don't know if that was that's their corporate office that they called or whatever. Sometimes they're instructed not to speak to media. Like, you're not allowed to. You can get in trouble for speaking. So I don't know if that's why they're just like no comment.
The scenes making these phone calls, but at this point, the best vantage point we have is Sky Fox.
Is what you're seeing right now. Yeah. And you have to wonder how much the officers even know at this point too, because all we know was this started as an attempted traffic stop. So we don't know whether that was, this is someone that they have been looking for. We don't know if this was, they just spotted something was not right with the truck, or there was a traffic infraction. We don't know what the reason was for that initial traffic stop. So they are, working, to find out who this is as well. And what has led to this. Again, we don't know anything about what, if anything, is on this truck. We've just been watching this, kind of unfold. And just to recap, if you're just now joining us, it was almost 2 hours ago that this began. Again, it started on I-10 eastbound. They, Harris County Sheriff's Office tells us they were trying to make a traffic stop, and that resulted in this chase. The chase thankfully didn't last all that long, but it stayed here on I-10, and they ended up using a spike strip to finally stop the truck. And if you get a close look at the truck's tires, there are 3 absolutely blown tires on the front part of the cab in the truck. And that was how they finally got the vehicle to stop. But, obviously the vehicle was probably, more in the middle of the highway there.
And I'll show you guys, I won't play this whole video, but for the people that have joined after, I was showing this earlier, and you can kind of see here. I'll take myself off the screen for a second. You can see a little bit of before the vehicle stopped. Sorry about the volume. You see he's like getting a spike strip. Let me toss it. That was a closer look. So that was earlier before it came to a stop.
Still, and I imagine a lot of the surrounding streets are very backed up as well, as people are kind of scrambling to figure out how to get to where they're going.
Yeah, busy time of year. And as we continue to watch officers make decisions and adjust their positioning for tactical reasons, just kind of give you guys an update here. So you see the feeder road that was on the side here. This feeder road, we had traffic, even when this first began, officers still had traffic moving. Wasn't very fast, but they were still allowing cars to move through. That has ended. I would say at least 30 to 40 minutes now. Officers have now shut down the feeder road even, and you can see the black unmarked truck as well as the car there, the squad car from the constable's unit. So you're not even getting traffic from the feeder road. After that, when we realized that there's no traffic from the feeder road, we then started to see more members of law enforcement in these tactical units. As I'm looking here, 1, 2, you have 2 at the top of your screen, at least 2 there, 2 on the side of the divider, 4, there's a K9 there, not to mention 4, 5, 6, at least 6 members in these tactical units on the street. But if you look at the bottom of your screen as well, next to these shipping containers, we also have multiple black vans as well. We have members of tactical units there as well. You can't see it, it's difficult, but there is a black truck right there that kind of set up a tent.
Yeah, this is live, guys.
That seems to be potentially a staging area for the members of the tactical units. But we have seen another step being taken here as far as trying to get this thing to come to an end. Officers, I don't want to mischaracterize, Heather. Were we able to confirm whether or not officers shot into the cab with that green smoke?
We couldn't see that. Again, we're watching this just from the chopper's sky view there, but we did see 3 puffs of green smoke, given that we're looking at that, when we got a closer look at that window, the window is completely green, and the window is kind of broken, like a circle of broken glass in the middle. We don't know exactly whether they came from inside or outside. But if we were to guess, probably it was their attempts to try and smoke the person out. But after 3 puffs of that green smoke. Now we're seeing a chopper land right now. Can we make out the identification of the chopper?
Oh, sheriff chopper, okay.
Oh, that's the sheriff, okay.
Yeah.
So now we're getting a little bit more activity as they're kind of,
big boys coming in.
Reassessing and getting ready for the next steps.
And remember, we are expecting Sheriff Ed Gonzalez. There's a staging area for the media.
Yes.
That's going to be set up there as well. So I'm interested to see.
It might be a little press conference.
Okay, here we go. We have another member of law enforcement in a tactical unit. You see here, lots of gear. We also have at least 1 ambulance there on scene.
Oh, he just tossed it to our gangster, man.
As you see him. It's moving with a purpose. That's for sure.
Right over the wall.
Right over the wall there, yeah. We have the ambulance.
There's the ambulance that's been there for almost an hour now.
So this is definitely escalated.
Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for stopping by.
To see this come to, a tragic
Sure.
end.
Hit the like button. I'd appreciate that.
For the driver,
waste of tax dollars.
Wheeler to simply come out and surrender, so everyone can go home, and then we can move forward. Okay, so we are going to take a brief pause right now, and then we're going to go on air.
Yeah, we'll be back at 3 o'clock live on the air with more. Oh, okay. And just momentarily, we will be on air on Fox 26 Houston. But you can also stay with us here on digital as well, as we'll continue to cover this breaking situation.
Helicopter's taking off too. So they just dropped that guy off. I have multiple feeds, by the way, so don't worry. And I don't think they're actually going to stop the feed. I think they're doing their live broadcast. If they do, I have multiple. Let me see what they're doing.
We have been covering this breaking
Here's
situation
for the people that want the recap.
Ongoing for almost a couple of hours now.
Get to the chopper.
This is I-10 eastbound at Sheldon. And what has happened so far, to give you a quick recapsule of events, is we heard from the Harris County Sheriff's Department that they had tried to initiate a traffic stop with that 18-wheeler that you see kind of in the middle towards the right side of your screen. That's our Skyfox view over the area, and they were trying to pull that 18-wheeler over for a traffic stop, and the sheriff's office tells us that then a chase ensued, and I would say it lasted, I think, about 20 minutes or so. It stayed on I-10 eastbound, and it stopped here. This is at Sheldon in Channelview, and they have shut down traffic completely in both directions. And so we've seen kind of traffic backups, and you can see, if you're looking at the Houston TransStar image on your screen, that's where they have blocked off traffic on the eastbound side, and they are routing all of the vehicles onto that exit ramp. So we're seeing pretty good traffic backups throughout this area, and it's been going on for, I would say traffic has been blocked for an hour and a half or so. But we don't know anything about who may have been on this truck, who may have been driving, what led to the chase. We've not seen anybody exit the truck, not the back part of the truck, not the cab of the truck. We've not seen anyone exit. We have seen 3 puffs of green smoke that appears perhaps like law enforcement was trying to smoke whoever is in there to come out, but we saw no movement. And 3 of the tires, 2 under the cab and 1 there under the front part of the box part of the truck, are completely flat from the spike strip that they used to finally get this chase to end. And yet we have seen one of the tires continue to spin. So, but there's been absolutely no activity in terms of seeing anybody moving or trying to come.
Valerie, thank you for the stars on
really
Facebook.
Been able to see into the window
Appreciate
too
that.
well, just through the helicopter's viewpoint from the camera. But so we don't know who's on the truck. We don't know what, if anything, is on the truck, and we don't know what led to this becoming a chase. But we've got all of this, all of these officers responding. Harris County Sheriff's Office, Baytown Police have responded.
Truck
Harris County
lives matter.
Sheriff's Office is leading up the investigation. And we've seen
AJ, I don't know.
officers
I don't know
kind
if
of
that's
moving around basically on the freeway as they're repositioning, and we're sort of waiting for our next steps to happen in terms of how they will finally bring this to an end, and hopefully we'll learn more about who's on that truck and what happened here.
And as far as the truck, we have placed phone calls to the company. If you look at the side and the decals on this 18-wheeler, it says designtransportation.net. So we went ahead and researched the company and also made a phone call. They're out of Dallas. Now, to be very clear, we don't know if the driver of this semi works directly for the company, or sometimes in this industry, sometimes those can be independent contractors working and driving the truck, or they were potentially hired directly from the company. So we have made phone calls in regards to the origins of this truck and who owns it. We also have our Abigail Nye there on the ground. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez let us know that there's a media staging area, so momentarily we will get some more information about how everything transpired. But I want to be clear, in the last hour we have seen some advancement or some steps being taken by law enforcement in terms of their strategy and repositioning. At the beginning of this chase, when the spike strips were thrown and we no longer had a moving 18-wheeler, a very dangerous situation, we had predominantly the constable's office and members of law enforcement there on the ground handling it by themselves. But I would say in the last hour or so, we have seen members of law enforcement and tactical units arrive. In fact, moments ago, we saw a chopper land on I-10. A member of law enforcement in tactical gear hops out of the chopper and runs to the scene. And we've seen more black unmarked cars arrive on the scene as well. Boom. And we continue to see. I would estimate about a dozen members are in tactical units right now, and we have seen the position change. We also have a K-9 officer there. And I think you guys in the back, if you can we start to queue up some of that video with the green smoke? I'll give you guys a bit of time. I do want our viewers to see that, because as of right now, as Heather mentioned, we have seen some green smoke come out of the front portion of that cab, but we can't confirm, at least not from Sky Fox and our vantage point, whether or not that was shot into the cab by police, or
hopefully this guy's still alive,
the driver of that cab. So as we look at the video here, we have seen the green smoke come up. Let me know, guys, when that video is up, if possible. All right, so we got the video up. So if you look closely here, there it is. There it is. You see the green smoke.
Oh.
Just based on my career and what I've covered, multiple scenes like this, if I had to put my money somewhere, and I have a hunch that this would be the moment when officers shot into the cab with some form of a gas to encourage the driver of this cab to come out. That has not happened.
Yeah.
We have not seen anyone come out of this cab, but as you're looking at, this is
There's
old,
another blast of the
yes.
smoke. There were 3 altogether.
So if you're just joining us, we've been watching this on fox26houston.com and all of our digital platforms, and we're re-racking and showing you guys some of the video that we were able to gather earlier on as this at the beginning stage of this investigation. But a very large traffic impact. This is an industrial area. Several people are at work. We continue to see them come out of their places of employment. Some of them have gathered in different portions trying to get a view or a vantage point of what's taking.
I mean, that spray part is a little, I never really seen that before. You know, like the green smoke thing coming out. I wonder what kind of, I don't know what that was. I'll let I kind of take a look at it again real quick. Let's just do a little replay with no audio, but there it is. Yeah, that thing didn't go inside. I don't think it did. It kind of like the glass looks kind of like it cracked and stuff, but I don't think it made it inside the vehicle. And maybe they should have tried again, because maybe it would have actually broken. There it is again. And then that one's like, it looks like he shot and hit the top of the truck. It looks like he missed on that one. All right, let's go back to the
gas pedal, which is why they're continuing to spin that tire. So we don't know that condition, but
pepper shots?
Obviously if that was green smoke from the police, it normally would be enough to make someone want to get out of there fast.
Yeah.
And there were 3 blasts of it, and we just didn't see any movement.
And a lot of our reporting right now, we're doing live with you. We have a team there on the ground. We're waiting for some more details. We've placed several phone calls to every police department that we know in that area and our sources, and everyone's keeping the information pretty close to the chest. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez is going to be holding a press conference for the media to give us some more information here, but we have certainly seen the scene change in terms of traffic. As you continue to look at I-10 east at Cedar Lane here, traffic has been at a standstill. We're approaching at least an hour and 15 minutes now. This has been the scene. Both directions, east and westbounds of I-10, now shut down. When we first started covering this scene, this feeder road you see here on your screen at the bottom left portion, essentially, that feeder road, officers at the beginning were still allowing traffic to flow. But then I would say, Heather, maybe about an hour, you would say? About an hour, hour and 15, they kind of shut that down.
Yeah, we haven't seen cars.
We haven't seen cars in a long time. So,
Jennifer, thank you for the stars on Facebook. Facebook's pretty lit too, because 500 people there. Jeanette says, thank you for the stars. Stu, live crew supporting you. Thank you. Is Stu, Stu's Cali. I know that, but I don't know why I was thinking, is Stu there? Like, no, this is Texas. He can't be there.
Of some of the officers and members of law enforcement, you now see the members of tactical gear, in the tactical gear at various points. At the top portion of your screen, you now have 2 of them. And this is the driver's side. So yes, they're on the opposite side of I-10, but we haven't really been able to get a good view of the driver's side of this 18-wheeler in quite some time. But you have 2 members in tactical gear there. You have another 3 here behind the truck, and then you also have 2 on the front portion. Okay, so we just got word
traffic, working to get people where they need to be, but careful. Again, a lot of heavy police presence, a lot of questions still remaining unanswered.
Abigail, can you hear me? Let's get to you now. Give us a quick synopsis of what you've been able to gather so far.
Put it on the ground view. I want to go back aerial, but that's kind of cool to see the...
Yeah, I've got you, Anthony. It is definitely getting pretty crazy out here. I mean, more and more law enforcement are showing up here on scene. I've seen several different units come down this feeder road here, and as you can see, as we turn the camera around, you can see that this feeder road is shut down to public access. As you can see right here, like I was saying, more and more law enforcement vehicles and units just kind of showing up. Looks like he's slowing down here. But we have so many on the way over to the scene, which is down here, just a little east of us. So this is I-10 eastbound.
Right off the exit.
And you can see that obviously this is shut down, just like the feeder road. And we've got a ladder truck up there at the top, a ladder fire truck, several other flashing lights, emergency vehicles of different kinds. As we've been watching our chopper video, we've seen a lot of different activity. I know we saw the chopper, a chopper drop off someone who seemed to be a part of a SWAT team. We see we see officers dressed in green uniforms. We see all types of activity out here. And we also have a SWAT truck up here just ahead. If we zoom in, I believe we see a couple of authorities here in tactical gear. So like I said, things are really ramping up here. This is a very high stakes, intense situation. Wow. I think it's safe to call this a standoff. They have this completely taped off. We can't move any closer than we are. And I would suggest that the public doesn't get any closer than we are at this point either. Law enforcement is out here doing their jobs and trying to de-escalate the situation in the safest way possible. Again, I-10 is shut down both ways, as we've been saying. You can't drive on I-10 either way, and this feeder road is shut down eastbound. I'm not sure about the other feeder road over there westbound, but I would say just avoid this whole area completely. I mean, the traffic is absolutely wild. It took us a long time to get out.
And I hope that this guy's alive, because like there's been a few standoffs that we've done, and by the way, like that's the that looks like the Bearcat right there. I wonder if they're going to move it up. I don't know if they're just getting things ready. But we've covered a couple of standoffs, so we're just sitting there waiting. Everybody's like, has this like big anticipation. What's going to happen next? What's going to happen? And they finally push up or whatever, and the person's like dead. So hopefully this person didn't off himself. And like I said multiple times, I think everybody's wondering what is in that truck, if anything. You know, is it people in there? Is there immigrants? Is it trafficking? Is it drugs? Or is it just an empty truck? You know, this person, for the new people that joined, failed to stop for a traffic stop.
As soon as we have one.
Refused to get out.
Reporting live, Abigail Dye, Fox 26 News.
Abigail, this is Heather, if you can hear me.
Refused to stop and refused to get out.
We know traffic it got to be very backed up all around that area. So can you, and you know, I know a lot of drivers concerned about not being able to get through, or concerned, you know, maybe they have family or friends in the area. Can you give us a sense of the traffic situation that you saw just trying to get to where you are? You're not that far away from where this truck is stopped. And so I want to know like what you observed traffic-wise and anything you can share with our viewers about just how backed up and blocked off this area is.
Let me check the Texas guy.
Yeah, absolutely. The traffic situation over here is terrible. Like I said, Sheldon Road is just east of us, and if we can try to take a little bit of a look here, we have some bushes in the way, but Sheldon is backed up, headed north and south. I mean, we were sitting in bumper to bumper traffic for probably about 15 minutes just when you hit this area. And like I said, this service road, it is blocked off right at Sheldon. So you can head down westbound or eastbound rather on this service road up until Sheldon, but you can't pass through Sheldon. So all that traffic going north and south down Sheldon is just atrocious. You really can't get through it. And so there are smaller roads like First right here, just south of us, that is backed up all the way down because that's the alternate to the feeder road. And every road around here, really, you're not going to be able to get through. And of course, the highway itself is shut down. So anyone who is trying to go east or westbound needs to take these alternate routes on the sides. So you're not going to be getting anywhere very quickly over here.
Hey, Abigail, I hate to cut you off here because I want to take this Sky Fox Live just to give you guys, if you missed some of this action here, we have, if you look at your screen, this white squad car, you have about 6 to 8 members of law enforcement, at least 6 of them in tactical gear. If you missed that action here, they actually moved into the back portion of this 18-wheeler and they opened the back door to kind of get an idea of what's inside.
Really?
Didn't know.
I didn't know they did that
the entire time. So they got an assessment at least of what's inside. They didn't move in, but they definitely made the assessment, and on the front portion portion of your screen here, I believe that is the first time that we've seen a robot. I believe that is one of the tactical units, or one of those that's in the arsenal, if you will. You see the robot now moving
in closer to the cab. So if you look at where the truck is, right next to the median, just below.
Oh, there's a robot! Look, robot! There's a robot!
Up to the cab, and that's their safe way of trying to.
It's not a dog, though.
Whoever is in there to find out, what the situation is, so that they're not putting an officer's life at risk by being that close. Without really knowing the situation, what the condition is of the person or persons who may be in there. And did it look to you, Anthony, like
robot?
Did they take anything out of the back of the truck?
It was difficult. I was trying to figure out if that was a shadow I may have been seeing or something, but I don't want to make an assessment of it just yet, but as we zoom into this, now you see the robot giving off members of law enforcement another set of eyes. If you're
that is gangster coverage, yes, I love it.
3 plumes of green smoke that
phone home.
Counts, we assume
Johnny Five
officers shooting into the cab with some form of a gas to encourage the driver to come out.
If you guys could hit the like button, share the stream out, please.
Heather, this is the first time
I'd appreciate it, man.
So we have the drone numbers on scene there as well, giving officers an idea of what's happening in the front, and we also have on the ground here this robot as well. From Abigail's vantage point, we also see an armored truck. We assume that's going to be moving in if this doesn't come to a peaceful end. And Heather, to one of your good points you made earlier, you see this wheel.
Yeah,
it's still
spinning.
So we're not sure if someone's on the gas, or maybe some type of debris that may have been in the cab fell on the gas pedal and it's still going, but that is still happening as well. I would say in the last hour 15, hour 30 minutes, we started to see more members in tactical gear arrive at the scene. They have now, by all accounts, taken over the position.
And we're going to be checking in again with Abigail. She's working to get us some more information right now. But if you watch, it's hard for our chopper to, obviously the closer we get, it's harder to stay steady with the shot. But you're watching this, it's fascinating to watch this robot slowly kind of unfold itself and expand. And they're trying to get a look inside the cab, without having to risk anyone's safety. They've got this robot up there to assess the situation. And when we saw those 3 bursts of green smoke, you can see how the passenger side window of the cab is green, and you can see where the part of the glass there is broken. But that green has also helped to obstruct the view,
right?
Which is part of why it is hard for them to see what exactly is going on. But just to refresh, if you weren't here, there were 3 puffs of green smoke, which we think appears to look like perhaps law enforcement was trying to smoke the people out or person out. But we didn't see any movement from the person, and we continue to see that wheel spinning, which we think may indicate that maybe they're incapacitated with a foot still on the pedal or something. But we just haven't seen any movement of any person coming out of that cab.
And we have placed some phone calls to the company that is listed on that cab. It's Design Transportation. They're out of Dallas, Texas. We have placed phone calls, and they simply said no comment. So I imagine they are getting several phone calls from a lot of people who want to know what's going on. And again, as we continue to zoom out here, this is okay. So now we have this shot for you here. It's pretty stagnant, no real movement so far, but I would definitely say that officers are going to be moving in here shortly.
That's probably the clearest picture of the truck we've had in a while, where you can see more of the details on the side of the cab there.
Peacock and Williams.
It looks to me like, is this video from earlier? Because I don't see the robot next to it.
Yeah,
okay,
I believe this is video.
This is video from earlier. So we're watching on our live cameras. It looks like our Skyfox is perhaps getting reset, so we don't have that live view of the robot.
Do we have another view here?
Now this is the camera shot from Abigail Dye, our reporter that's on the field. So this is the feeder road. If you can remember from the shot we just showed you, there was a feeder road. This is the feeder road, and when this first began, they were letting cars go through the feeder road, but as you can see now, this is an armored truck here. on the feeder road amongst several other unmarked and marked police cars as well. And once those armored trucks show up to the scene, then we're talking about the potential of an actual engagement with the person who may be in that cab, because these armored vehicles obviously can carry several members of the SWAT team in there as well.
I wonder if they're going to use the Bearcat.
This is a very high.
Now I'm trying to see the chopper left. Is there any other choppers there?
And you can
Let me
see
hit up this
there's some
dude.
movement there as well. It is moving.
Yeah, perhaps they're going to move it in closer to the truck.
Yeah, but we have at least a dozen members of the SWAT
ABC's
team
en route.
on
Okay.
scene. We have a
So Skyfox left to go refuel. ABC 13 is en route. Looks like this might be a hostage situation. I don't know. This is somebody speculating, but I'm glad that ABC 13. Okay, so ABC 13
inside. And we witnessed this as well, Heather. This was when the chopper landed.
Yeah, and we saw an officer in tactical gear hop out, carrying a lot of equipment, kind of hop over that median wall, and then kind of reposition with some of the other officers there. And now
there it is.
Yeah, that's
this is what happened earlier.
Definitely
a sense of urgency.
Yeah. The fact that we're seeing that SWAT vehicle you were just talking about now moving perhaps closer to where the 18-wheeler is tells me that they've maybe garnered some information from the robot that is telling them, okay, we can go ahead and move in closer to this situation. But this was that tactical officer arrived by helicopter.
Yeah, and we do want to note too, there's an ambulance there on scene as well. Certainly everyone would like this to come to an end here soon and as safe as possible. We don't want anyone to be injured or potentially lose their life, but this has been 2 hours now. Officers have done time and time again to try to initiate the 18-wheeler and have it come to a stop by putting out those spike strips. It then came to a stop, but then we didn't have any movement from the driver of this 18-wheeler. We believe officers may have shot into the cab with this green smoke, which is why you see the remnants of that from the passenger side of this 18-wheeler. We had some shots from Skyfox as well from the driver's side, and we really couldn't make out what was.
You couldn't really see.
You couldn't really see what was going on inside of there because of that green smoke. So we didn't want to, give you guys any wrong information or mischaracterize what we can see and assess from what Skyfox was giving us. So we want to hold back on what's potentially happening inside of that truck. But again, even with the smoke, no one came out.
Yeah, and I do think it's noteworthy that they did not evacuate the area. Because we have seen workers from those businesses right there next to the feeder road. We've seen them kind of out on their cell phones and watching and observing and moving around in their parking lot areas. And this again is the video of when they had the green smoke coming out of the cab. There are 3 bursts of this if you're watching this. But they did not evacuate those workers, those employees. And that tells us a little bit about the nature of what's going on. If they were, there was a heightened concern about public safety, of course they would have said everybody out in that immediate area. And we didn't see that. So they're still being very tight-lipped. We're more than 2 hours into this. Okay, there's our robot video approaching.
Wait. Well, that's they're replaying
we're more
that.
than 2 hours into this, and we're getting still very little information about who may be on this truck, what may be on this truck, why it was being pulled over for a traffic stop, and what led to this chase that has now ended here on I-10 with a complete shutdown for 2 hours of traffic in both directions.
Yeah. And our reporting really has been through Skyfox, because that is our best ability to get some reporting to you guys, because this is what we have seen. So if you're just now joining us and you may have missed this little nugget of information here, that is a robot. A robot was used as well to try to approach the front portion.
Oh, I think they might be there now.
Give officers a better view.
Do we have feed yet? Let's see
what's happening there. Not to mention,
we got feed, baby. We got live feed again. Let's go. Let's go, baby. All right, I'm so glad. So there's the robot. The robot's still there. Let me take this off the screen here. We got a full view. The robot's still there. It's like peering in, looking in. It looks like it's smoking too.
Have of an area in the
Let's
back
go, baby.
Here, as you can see,
hit the like button, share.
Design with the American flag on it. That's the sleeper part of it. He could very well be back there. The
back in business.
Is he is back there, and not being able to see out the window, we can't see him. So we don't know exactly if he is holding a gun or exactly what the issue is, why he will not exit the tractor of.
Some people are saying the driver's dead.
The wheel is still spinning here. Now, it's the wheel spinning on the tire, not the tire spinning on the concrete below it. And you see the smoke there coming from it because it's hot. It just keeps spinning and spinning on that flat tire. So that continues. Fuel tanks, which are right underneath that sleeper cab. But as you can see, we're still waiting, standing by. The other thing that I noticed when you guys were taking video earlier from the ground, that a couple of the Able helicopters, that's the Sheriff's Department helicopters, landed with the SWAT officers on board. They got out with their equipment. My guess is they're going to probably be bringing their armored vehicle here. That's the one that you've seen in some pretty tough situations when it comes to SWAT standoffs and that sort of thing, that they'll bring that here just to keep the officers safe and be able to probably poke a hole either into the windshield or over there on the passenger side of the cab. It's an ongoing situation, and as we speak, there arrives the armored vehicle. And it looks as though they're going to put that in place.
The big boys. Here we go. Now it's rolling up.
And work on getting this guy out.
What do you guys think? Is he alive or deceased?
For now, back to you.
We almost got 7,000 people here.
Dawn, yes, the situation has definitely intensified just a little bit. And if you guys can see in one of our pictures here, you can see there's a drone that is just hovering near the windshield. Obviously, they are also trying to get a different perspective because, again, it seems like that driver is in the back portion, in the sleeping area, if you will, of that 18-wheeler. We have been following the situation, as I've been mentioning, for quite some time now, and we now have a crew there on the ground as well, trying to gather some details for us. Our Giovanni Ligi is now live for us. Gio, have you been able to talk to anybody that can give you more information on this?
Well, we're still waiting for an update from deputies, but like Don just said, this is still a very active scene that has some major traffic implications. Both sides of Highway 10 here are currently closed, and in this area, the Channelview area, there are some major delays, so definitely think about delaying travel if you can, or taking an alternate route. There's State Highway 225 and Highway 90 that you can take, but take a look right back there. Once again, you just saw from above Sky 13. This is still a very active scene, and once again, there are some major traffic implications here. It took us quite some time to get here. Once again, Highway 10 is closed in both directions. And, you know, this is right before rush hour. This is 2 days after Christmas. You know, there are delays, and this will take quite some time to clear up and, you know, restore that traffic back to normal. But we're still waiting for an update from deputies to try and figure out what started this, quote, low-speed chase, they say, and what they were pursuing before.
Yeah, Giovanni, and
So they're trying to, I think they're trying to definitely get a close-up visual. I might lean towards he's dead, too. I don't know.
I heard some voices there around you. But thank you for the latest. We will cut back to you if need be. And so we are again following the situation that has been ongoing for several hours. As soon as we have more details for you, we will, of course, go back to those images. For now, we have more headlines to get to.
What? A potential murder mystery tops your news in 60. Police in San Antonio.
All right, so we got this one. Let me see something. They got to be on their YouTube page.
And I think that's just east of Sheldon, where most of the action is taking place. So Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, that is the first time we've been able to set eyes on him. That is a live look again of what's unfolding on the feeder road. Now near that feeder road is an industrial area. And we have seen that kind of be used by law enforcement as kind of a staging area for them. We've seen a lot of black unmarked cars and members of the SWAT team go over there as well and kind of look at what was taking place. And now we have
here we go.
From, the chopper,
baby, let's go.
Close-up view of the truck, and it looks like the SWAT vehicle has just pulled in right in front of it. And you can see the robot there on the left side. That has been kind of, giving them the view into the truck, into
now,
the
this
cab.
is the same armored truck I just mentioned a minute ago. That was once on that feeder road.
And look at the top of it. You can see there's an officer.
I wonder if he's just using it to zoom in, just to look.
Taking position, looking through the scope.
You see more officers, members of the SWAT team in the back portion of that truck as well. They are certainly looking to bring this thing to an end here at night. If you're just now joining us, this is a live look at I-10 right now. I want to let you guys know, as we continue to see this unfold, if it we will make a decision, an editorial decision.
No.
Away from this scene.
Don't.
If things
you
get to the point where we
baby.
no longer feel like it's the best, it's in the best service of our viewers to digest some of that information.
Oh, it is in the best service.
So first and foremost, I want to put that warning out there. But we do want to let you guys get a view of what is happening right now. And Heather, you started covering this for us in the very beginning. And if people are just not joining us, kind of bring us up to speed on how we got
Sure,
here.
yeah. So over 2 hours ago, we started hearing in the newsroom about a chase that was underway. Harris County Sheriff's Office handling a chase. They tell us that they tried to pull this 18-wheeler over for a traffic stop. We don't know what the reason was for the traffic stop, but they tell us that the traffic stop didn't happen. It then turned into a chase, and they ended up having to use a spike strip to stop the vehicle. And you can see from that front tire there, that's just the rim that's left. There are 3 tires just completely blown that we've seen.
What did he pull out? He pulled out a little.
And
he's going to shoot into it?
Watching live.
He's going to shoot him?
The SWAT officer, in position here, coming out the top of the SWAT
Check
vehicle.
this out.
Changed his weapon. This seems to be.
They're bringing more stuff.
You see shot fired right there.
Okay.
And that, from my estimation, I believe that is a.
They're getting ready to do a press conference. The press conference
of some sort.
I think
there was a shot fired inside of that 18.
Look, they're sending more stuff too.
Right there in
that's the rook.
Portion of the windshield. The SWAT member now reloading. It seems getting another position.
Where's the chopper? We want a chopper.
Weapons again.
Damn you.
You can also see on the passenger side of this 18-wheeler. Matter of fact, we just got word Sheriff Ed Gonzalez is holding a press conference. We want to get to him. We have that up, guys. Let's listen in. All right, so let's get back to.
If we can maybe show the live
get a double box of some
sort. Please. I want to see the helicopter and the sheriff.
Latest visual.
With the Harris County Sheriff's Office out here in our District 3
there we go. Perfect.
patrol area, East Harris County. This afternoon at approximately 12:51 p.m., just shy of 1 p.m., some of our patrol units or a patrol unit spotted what appeared to be a stalled 18-wheeler on the main lanes outbound of the East Freeway near Freeport. It drew his attention. Many times we just refer to it as a possible traffic hazard where there's either a vehicle or something stalled in the middle of the roadway. So he turned on his lights to investigate what was happening. At that point, the driver appeared to be a lone driver, but we don't know if there's anyone else in the vehicle, possibly a Hispanic or white male driver. We're not exactly sure, but that's the preliminary information we have. But the driver did not stop. The driver began traveling forward at a slow rate of speed. So the unit continued behind just to assess what was going on. At that point, there's a range of things that he was considering. It could be anything from medical emergency, so a potential public safety risk as well. So just trying to assess what was going on. As the vehicle continued outbound, the vehicle started some evasive maneuvers, started swerving kind of around multiple lanes. At that point, the risk factors went up at that point because now the vehicle began swerving. And again, we're talking about a large 18-wheeler with a container truck in the container trailer in the back. So at that point, just past Sheldon, that's where the vehicle finally came to a rest on the main lanes. By then, obviously the sergeant and others had determined that they were going to try to immobilize the truck. They deployed spikes, which were successful. And the vehicle continued to travel some more and eventually came to a stop. At this point, he remains barricaded, refusing to come out. We have summoned our crisis negotiation team as well as our SWAT team, so we could have a range of different options
so he could deploy I guess he's alive then?
Seeking the best possible outcome for everyone involved. But at this point, it's still an active scene. We do not know why he's refused to come out or what may be happening with him. It could be anything from being impaired to some type of criminal issue that we're just not aware of. So we're just trying to ascertain the best strategy to, again, come to a safe resolution, primarily to make sure our deputies are safe out here, other citizens that may be in the area, and then also the subject himself, that we could try to resolve this as peacefully as we can. But being that he was... he's refusing to come out and not knowing his state of mind. We're concerned, of course, that he's an 18-wheeler. It's a powerful truck, obviously, and anything could happen. He is revving up the engine and has been doing that for a while, so we don't know what's on his mind. Obviously, traffic mobility is an issue, so we could continue to get the message out to avoid I-10 East and to seek alternate routes. That would be helpful because we have a large presence out here. We're going to try to get this resolved as quickly but as safely as possible as well. Just briefly in Spanish before I answer questions. Esta tarde, como casi a las 1 de la...
All right, so he's going to answer questions. I'm really... Sometimes the Q&A can be really good too. I was leaning towards he's deceased, but this press conference that's happening live now kind of indicates that this guy is, I guess, alive. I suppose he's been accelerating, hitting the gas, revving the engine. Maybe that's why that wheel was spinning. Okay, that car's not going anywhere now.
Siguió caminando, después comenzó a cruzar diferentes de las líneas de tráfico.
Wow, that's crazy. If you guys could hit the like button, please, I appreciate it. Share the stream out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Been kind of stuck for a long time, finally starting to grow a little bit. So I'd appreciate that. Let's see.
En vivo en este momento tenemos diferentes elementos preparados para ver qué es exactamente lo que está pasando y por qué no está cooperando con las autoridades. Entonces en eso estamos ahorita tratando de resolver este incidente de la manera más segura para todos involucrados. Any questions?
It seems like we're hearing that there was a tactical officer who fired some shots. What kind of shots are those used?
I think, again, we try different things. We always try to just kind of use the less force as necessary. I did mention that we did successfully spike the wheels, the tires, a couple of times, and then also I think less lethal type of weapon was utilized to try to see if we could just gain compliance and get the issue resolved quicker, but that was unsuccessful. So here we are now. We're now in a barricaded situation. Just for some of our citizens, they may say, well, it's easy, just go up to the truck or something. We're putting our folks in harm's way. He's at an elevated position, so there's different tactical considerations that have to be made. So one priority for me as well is to make sure that our folks are safe out here. So I want to...
Lorette, love you too. I hope you're doing good.
Here,
in the chat.
The lieutenant as well, Lieutenant Calhoun and our team out here, the sergeant, everybody, we're working together. We're trying to resolve multiple things from the traffic as well as the safety. And again, we'd like for him to comply and get him out safely, but at the end of the day, it's ultimately his choice to make sure he's complying with us so that we could resolve this as safely as possible for everyone.
And so at this point, it seems like just non-lethal shots have been fired?
Yes, that's up to the moment, that's it. Nothing, no gunfire or anything has been exchanged or fired either at him or at us for any reason. So it's still, everything's still in flux at this point.
¿Qué es lo que se ha hecho en español?
Le pudimos poner a las llantas donde pudimos inmovilizar la troca, pero siguió continuando y en este momento sigue dentro de la troca con el motor prendido, no está respondiendo a nuestras órdenes y también se le disparó no es como bala, pero sino es un...
So he's just repeating what they did, where they tried to make a traffic stop, he wouldn't stop, then they put the spike strips and disabled the vehicle, and they've given him commands to get out, and he's not listening to commands. And he's revving the engine up inside of that truck. So I guess he's alive. Wow.
No tuvo efecto. No sabemos si tuvo impacto en él o si le pegó al vidrio. No sabemos.
¿Está armado él?
No sabemos, no hemos visto, pero tenemos que considerar que es posible. Por eso tenemos...
And they just asked him if this suspect is armed, and they said they don't know, but they have to assume that he is.
Don't know if he's armed. He could have a long rifle or serious firepower in there that we just don't know about. So we got to consider all things at this point.
Did you speak to the owners who own this trucking company? Do we know anything about?
I don't know who we made contact with. Everything's still in flux, so we're looking at different angles.
Is it trying to open the door?
Any information that we could develop
or pop the glass
as to what may be going on with this individual. We simply want him to comply. You may have heard where we're trying to establish communications with him, trying to just get his attention, but it's still a very fluid situation because we're concerned if he takes off with that type of vehicle. He's been erratic already, that he could go and harm other people down the roadway if we don't resolve this right now.
You talk about the size of that truck, right? So do you know exactly what's inside that truck?
We haven't. We're trying to determine that. We're trying to see what, or there could be people, it could be items, we don't know. So that's part of our situation that we're trying to resolve. No sabemos todavía, no nos han dicho qué está dentro del camión.
So they don't know who's inside the truck. I've never seen that little robot like that. I'm always interested in these robots. You know, we know the Bearcat. We're familiar with the Bearcat. We've seen it so many times. The new people might not know about the Bearcat. And then I saw them moving around the Rook, which I've seen that Rook before. I've seen it in Texas. There was this crazy standoff this year in Texas where some guy ran into a house or something and he shot at cops. And they literally tore the house down with machines. With the Rook and other stuff. They literally broke the walls and tore this shit down and sent a drone flying into the house. Look, the wheel's still spinning. I guess he's accelerating.
Comunicación en este momento escucho donde estamos tratando de
that was one of the craziest standoffs I've seen.
¿Qué es lo que necesita para ayudarle? No sabemos si
where they tore the house down
o algo, pero no se está dando a saber. Down Freeport, I would say it's maybe 3 miles, maybe 2-3 miles. So it's just been a straight shot all the way. Everything was at slow speed. It was a slow roll. So nothing elevated.
Polythene, you remember that?
At high rate of speed or anything like that.
And that's when they brought out the robot dog too.
He has been. Yes, he's still been revving the engine. So that's concerning. I mean, is he intend to just drive through everything? And I mean, we're going to have a mobile situation, which is another tactical concern that we would have if he goes mobile. So,
I actually think the rim is turning, like you're saying.
We have units around a perimeter, an inner perimeter, but I don't know how they've got it positioned right now. So we've got different units as well. And again, it's a major scene out here trying to deal with the traffic impacts as well as the scene itself, and then also make sure that the bystanders, the spectators, are also at a.
That's a good question. If it's actually moving.
Both sides, eastbound and westbound.
And Sheriff, we're live right now. Can you talk to us once again about the traffic implications this has in the area?
Yes, at this point, we're asking all the commuters. We know that thankfully it is kind of around the holidays, so there's less traffic on the roadways. But nonetheless, we know it's a busy corridor that leads folks out of the greater Houston area into Baytown and beyond. So the East Freeway right now is at a bottleneck right now. We're trying to alleviate some of that traffic, but if people can find alternate routes, we are diverting them off of Sheldon Road right now, and we're getting them around the Target area.
Wow.
But if they could exit before then, either get on the tollway or even before that and find
alternate routes, fire
that
too,
would
maybe.
be helpful. So we leave it up to the news stations to hopefully help us out on that.
Rapidito, porque nosotros sabemos en nuestra comunidad, hemos visto estos camiones utilizados para transportar inmigrantes. En estos momentos, ¿ustedes piensan que hay personas allá adentro?
No pensamos que hay, nomás digo que es posible, digo, no hemos podido inspectarlo. No pensamos que va a haber personas adentro, no tenemos esa sospecha completamente, pero no lo podemos eliminar tampoco todavía. Estamos viendo eso.
So the interesting thing that he just asked him, he was like, do you think there's like immigrants or whatever, people inside the back of the truck? And he responded saying that they don't think so, but they don't know. So when we were listening to the news, they had said that they opened up the back of the truck and that they looked inside. I didn't see that happen on camera. The only thing I saw was the robot come up. So it's interesting that the sheriff now is saying live that like they don't think there is, but they haven't like confirmed yet.
Entertain to determine that there's not people in there, but again, until we could fully inspect it closely, nothing could be ruled out.
So they don't know. They don't know. The Rook!
Oh! We deployed a ammunition.
Right through the American flag!
Immobilized the driver. It wasn't successful. I don't know if it had any impact on him, or we were trying to
get at it. Oh, they smoked his ass
through an open window or something. I'm not
sure.
Bro,
that shit went boom!
I just know that it was utilized.
That's the Rook, baby.
Weapon, which is something now, a tool that we've given some of our deputies to try to get resolve things in a less lethal way.
Has the driver even acknowledged Joe's presence?
While the press conference is happening.
In Spanish and English, has there been any kind of response, any kind of acknowledgement that you guys are?
I wasn't told of any contact where he's actively engaging since I've been here. Something could have been established. We hope so. We're giving him that opportunity. We're trying to give him every opportunity to help us resolve this as safely as possible. But again, at some point, I mean, some decisions have to be made because we're putting a lot of people at risk out here, and we've got to make some decisions.
Was he asleep when you first encountered him?
I don't know what his status was when they first encountered him. When they did pull up to try to assist him, because sometimes they thought maybe it could have been a medical emergency or something's happening, or maybe just need some roadside assistance of some kind.
Let's see how this works.
Taking off when our units turn on their lights. So,
and I was really wondering, for the people that know about trucks and stuff, I was wondering if there's a compartment back there. How big is it? Like, I guess, can you sleep and lay back there?
Harm other people, and that's where the risk elevated a lot more.
The Rook, right? That Rook is ooh.
Well, in this case, the concern is that he is in a truck, so he could always potentially go mobile again. So, you know, you have obviously roadways, it's a more wide open space. So there's different tactical considerations that have to be made, but thankfully we are well prepared. We do have
it's coming back, baby. It's coming back.
Wide range of equipment and trained personnel to try to kind of go throughout to try different options that have already been tried. And hopefully I have a lot of faith in our team, and so
bring it off, tear it off.
Hopefully we could get this resolved quickly.
We're seeing that there's smoke now coming
Sheriff, the whole truck is being obliterated. Yo, look at this. They are not playing. Texas.
You know, just getting footage from
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. It could be something that's emanating from inside that you know, setting something on fire.
Oh my God, I'm so glad we're not missing this.
The cab of the truck, or it could be one of our appointment from us, you know, so we're trying different tactics here, so hopefully we'll get an update here soon, and we'll update you all as soon as possible.
And like you said, it sounds like what they're doing is
wow.
breaking into the cab. Is that something that...
All right, I want to hear a little bit of what they're saying.
And again, you see the SWAT team member, weapon drawn.
And the sheriff is speaking. Let's see if we can listen.
No,
the sheriff.
I want to hear.
We'll update you all as soon as possible.
All right. Wow.
So while I've been here, I don't know.
Wow,
the
they tore this
frankly,
ish
I leave
up.
that up to our trained professionals that are excellent at what they do and trained for all kind of scenarios.
Share the stream
I really
out.
can't
This is
speak to
wild.
What they're trying to do or what they would do, simply because for safety of everybody involved, got to let them execute whatever they're doing. But I'm not aware of what they're doing at this moment.
Just to clarify, where was the intersection he was at?
I was told Freeport and East Frankly, Freeway
I'll
leave that up to our trained professionals that are
I'll leave it on this audio.
excellent at what they do and trained for all kind of scenarios. So I really can't speak to what they're trying to do.
Can he be alive now?
Do, simply because for safety of everybody involved, got to let them execute whatever they're doing. But
Holy
I'm not
moly.
aware of what they're doing at this moment.
Just to clarify, where was the intersection he was at?
I was told Freeport and East Freeway outbound.
Okay, so you were just getting a little bit of an update again from Sheriff Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff's Office, which has been, they've been on the front, on point for handling this incident. There have been other Baytown Police and some others that have also responded, but the Sheriff's Office is on point on this. And we just basically saw this apparatus, kind of tear out the passenger side door of the cab.
Holy fuck, bro.
I just walked over, Anthony, to the screen to see if I could see inside that cab, any better, but it's dark in there. We're sort of seeing a lot of wreckage of, what the apparatus.
Thank you for the
was able
super
to
chats.
pull out. We saw what looks like maybe a blanket or some fabric that was pulled out, but we haven't seen any movement inside the cab. It's been hard to see through the windows.
I don't know if this guy's really alive.
The officers out there, they've had a robot approach right up to the window to see what was going on, and you can see there's still a SWAT officer on top of that SWAT vehicle with his scope, set on that front windshield as they're still trying to determine whether this person is a threat in any way, or whether they might be incapacitated. We just haven't seen any movement, so we don't know.
And that was our Abigail Dye who asked that question of Sheriff Ed.
Guaranteed insurance payout.
As they try to continue.
That's just somebody said the trucking company just got a guaranteed payout. Yo, this is wild. When I saw that Rook coming in, because it reminded me of the other Texas situation, I didn't really expect that they were going to tear this shit up like this, but that's what they did with that house. They literally tore that house down. They sent a robot dog to find this guy inside the house. The robot dog found him. Then they broke the second floor closet with the Rook. They broke a hole into the house. and they made his ass crawl into the rook, and they pulled his ass out with the rook.
To where we are now. And, you know, Sheriff Gonzalez, I know that you have been keeping, Anthony and Heather, you guys are keeping an eye on our eye in the sky, and we saw tactical units trying to break into the cab of this 18-wheeler, and Gonzalez said that he can't really comment exactly on what those tactical units are doing right now because he was standing right here as that was happening, but he says they're just trying everything they can to de-escalate this in a safe way. You know, they're using that robot, they're using non-lethal force and shots, and they're just trying to get this driver who's still in that cab to come out safely and peacefully. And so they're just trying all these different tactics. We'll show you a bit of the scene here behind us. Like I said, this started just about 5 miles away. Gonzalez says this chase, it wasn't crazy. It wasn't like this 18-wheeler was going 50 or 80 miles an hour like we've seen in the past with these 18-wheeler chases. This was just a slow progression. And as they continued to chase this 18-wheeler here on I-10, they ended up deploying those spikes, which stopped the truck. It came off to the left side of the lane, as we've been seeing from the helicopter. And now we are fully surrounded. And like I said, Gonzalez says we're just continuing to use these different tactics. And they don't know who this driver is, but a little bit about the behavior of the driver. Heather, I know I heard you say that we could see that front wheel continuing to spin.
Rabbit hole, thank you so much.
That was the driver revving the engine. So apparently this driver continues to be putting his foot on the gas.
So they're saying he's revving the engine. I'm surprised and shocked that this guy's alive. You know, Rainbow, thank you for the 20. Thank you so much. Gotta love Texas. If you guys, again, could hit the like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Appreciate it. What a wild ass standoff.
Very dangerous, and we don't know the intentions or the mind state of this driver at this point. And we've also, we asked Gonzalez if we know anything about this driver, if we know anything about this company, the truck that this driver is driving. And they say at this point they don't. They don't know why he didn't stop for police. Police initially tried to stop this 18-wheeler because it was stalled out. And so, yeah, and so, like I said, it started very slowly, and obviously it escalated very quickly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and we don't, as to Abigail's point, we don't know who the driver is yet. They just told us the only descriptor they have is male, and they believe either a white or Hispanic male. Is that? Did they say anything further, Abigail?
No, nothing further about the description, no age, nothing like that. But like you said, Heather, white or Hispanic male. We're not exactly sure, like I said, why this person, why he decided to run from police, why he decided to run from authorities. But at this point, they're just hoping that he's not armed, that there's nothing dangerous inside this 18-wheeler, and this situation doesn't escalate any more than it has.
Oh, wait, is that his arm right there?
Have you got a chance?
I think that's him. No, that's his arm. That's his arm.
Businesses nearby, or have you had a chance?
Yo, he's just chilling in there.
That's not
Yo, the rook's coming back. Oh my god.
But more so just
bro, the rook.
Anthony, not at this point. I mean, I'll show you what I can see here. Obviously, right here is a hotel. We've seen just a couple, as you can see, someone's coming out to videotape what's going on right now. We've seen just a couple of people in and out of the hotel, mostly workers.
We don't care about the hotel.
But, you know, everyone out here knows just about as much as we do. But we'll go ahead and send it back to you for right now.
Yo, that thing is...
We're watching this, the tactical...
Are they going to tear the whole truck up?
I don't know what to call this thing, Anthony, but it's again tearing out more of the side, of the passenger side of the cab. But we still haven't been able to get a good look. It's dark inside.
I thought I saw his arm. I don't know.
To see, you know, a look at this driver or what seems to be happening beyond the passenger side of the cab. But they continue to tear out.
If this guy's alive, like they're implying, I just can't imagine how you could just chill while there's like fucking like Terminator tearing your or Transformer tearing the truck up. Like I just can't imagine like the sounds and like the shaking and the violent, like I don't know, and these robots are he's just chilling.
In an effort, and you can see the robot, it's still got its you know, eye, if you will, poised, looking into the cab, giving the officers a look at what's going on inside. And because it's dark, we can't see from our perspective what may be happening, if anything at all.
Yeah, and this has really escalated up until this point. By all accounts, officers have tried multiple ways to get this guy out of this cab.
Well,
this is the point we're at now. So to give you guys a quick recap, if you can imagine this for a second, this is the passenger side of the cab. Before, we believe that there were multiple shots shot into this cab, and there was a green smoke that came out of it. If you look at the top of the cab, you can see little remnants of that green smoke. When that happened, no movement from the driver.
Wow.
That man decided not to come out.
I mean, completely surrounded.
We then had multiple units from the SWAT team show up on scene. We also captured the moment a chopper landed on I-10. We saw a member of SWAT hop out with a sense of urgency, rush to the scene, and then we started to see more black unmarked cars show up to the scene as well. And then we had at least a dozen members of the SWAT team there. Then we started to see these armored trucks show up as well. That is the armored truck here, directly in front of that semi, where you have one of the SWAT team members. You see him right here, weapon drawn. We have seen him fire multiple shots into the cab, not bullets. I want to be clear. They are still using non-lethal force here, but he has fired his weapon at least twice into the front portion of the windshield of this 18-wheeler. Still, no movement from the driver. That is when we started to see this piece of machinery here at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. They are using that apparatus to then first, what they did, if you see this American flag on the decal, they put a hole right there. That was the main point of entry first, and they tossed in some gas, a gas of some sort. Still, again, no movement from the driver. That is when this larger apparatus was brought in, and it has now ripped out the passenger side of this 18-wheeler at this very moment. But again, still no movement from the driver. Now, this piece of machinery has a lot of capabilities. It can pretty much rip out the entire portion of this truck.
We're about to have 10K
again,
between Facebook
the SWAT
and YouTube.
Team members are still trying to figure out. I do want to make note here, what we can't tell you from this vantage point in the chopper is what's being said. We do know members of the SWAT team obviously are there, but there are negotiators there as well. So what we can't provide you with is an understanding of that means of communication, if in fact there is communication happening directly between law enforcement and the driver of this semi. This is now, was it 3:49 in the afternoon? So we are approaching a 3-hour mark of the Rook standoff.
Here it goes.
A lot of things happening.
Get ready again.
And the tactical machine's going in again to try and create a little more of a viewpoint. For them to get an assessment of what's happening inside. If you've ever been in one of these cabs, you know, you've got your sort of your driver and passenger section that you can see there in the front, and then they often have kind of like a sleeper cabin or another part of the
Facebook
cab
and YouTube.
where people can also be. And so that's, you know, sort of been the question from the get-go.
Oh my gosh.
Is all we know is there, you know, the driver they've described as a male, either white or Hispanic. That's the only descriptor we've gotten. And they don't know whether there's a possibility of anyone else being either in this cab or perhaps in the truck or anything like that. We just don't know. And so they're being extremely careful, you know, trying to get a better view. That's been the challenge out here since this the spike strips were laid out and they were able to stop this, is they just haven't been able to see very well what's going on inside this cab. When the 3 puffs of green smoke came out of the cab earlier, you know, that helped to turn what was the passenger side window green, and part of the window was broken, and so you couldn't see into it once that happened. And from our vantage point, and while Sky Fox is giving us an excellent view right over the scene, it's still with, you know, shadowing and darkness in the cab. It's been very hard to see, you know, inside to see exactly what's going on. Again, we just haven't seen any movement.
Well, you know what, though? We're going to see everything here in a second because this piece of machine is going to rip this entire portion out. As I'm trying to look closely here, it looks like there was even a TV inside of the back of this cab. You see another aggressive move here by the member of law enforcement controlling this apparatus the SWAT team frequently uses whenever they're trying to make entry into any given point, whether it be a semi in this situation or even a house. We've seen them use this as well. So that's what's happening on this side, but also please pay attention of what's happening here at the top of the SWAT, at the top of the armored vehicle right here. So we're paying attention to that as well.
And if I'm correct, Anthony, this apparatus that is breaking into the truck now, they're operating that remotely.
Yes, they're.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw. I believe someone might be in that.
My God, what if they get crushed?
So perhaps it's armored.
I believe it's armored for sure.
Okay.
And if you're familiar with these cabs, a lot of times in the back portion here you have beds. So this is what we see being ripped out here. A bed. I saw a television earlier as well.
Damn, bro.
So this guy doesn't have far to go.
They're gutting this thing. Everything's coming out.
There's not many places you can go inside of this cab. So we're going to see this thing come to an end here relatively soon. In terms of the semi itself, it is design transportation. If you realize, if that may not ring a bell, we made some phone calls because we wanted to know, like, who is the driver of this cab? Where did this truck come from? It's out of Dallas, Texas. We placed the call to the company. The company is saying no comment, but we obviously don't know if this person
did he just
contracted through
finish that thing
the company
too?
or if they were employed full time.
Like that thing in the ground, it's like you just smashed it too. It's like.
So this is what we continue to witness here in real time with you. As Skyfox is over the scene here on I-10 eastbound, as this was, according to police, a traffic hazard where a member of the constable's unit tried to initiate a traffic stop because they saw something that was potentially a traffic hazard, making things dangerous. And when they tried to initiate that traffic stop, that is when the driver of the semi, according to Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, led police on a chase. But he was deliberate by saying that it was at a low rate of speed. Nevertheless, officers were able to use spike strips. And if you look at the very front portion of the 18-wheeler, you can see down to the rim, bare. But we also continue to see some more information being given to us because of that press conference from Sheriff Ed Gonzalez. And I believe Heather Abigail is...
She's got some more information we're hearing about the suspect, Abigail.
Yes, Heather, so we can't really speak to his mental state, but as for his physical state, I was just talking to a sergeant here. I was wondering, if he's still alive, and the sergeant says that he is indeed alive. At this point, nothing has gone out on the radios indicating that our suspect has died during this altercation because, we did have those projectiles fired, and while they were non-lethal, you never know how something like that can end up. And just being in this state and revving the engine and sitting in that cab for so long, we don't know where this man's health is. So we went ahead and we spoke to the sergeant, and he told us that at this point that that suspect is still alive.
Well, actually, we do have a better view. Thank you. The Flossie told me someone in the chat was saying we got a better view from ABC. So we're going to switch it up because we can actually see the guy, I think, here.
It was smoking earlier.
I think there's the guy right there on the driver's side.
Have a situation like this, we always ask you, have you ever seen anything like this?
No, and all of my career,
he's alive.
I've never seen anything like this.
He's just chilling.
I do wonder, however, is he conscious?
Is he conscious?
Is got some sort of a drug-induced sort of staring straight ahead?
Drug-induced stare.
Don't know, and I don't think that the sheriff is really up against the guardrail there, separating the east and westbound lanes over here at I-10, the Baytown East Freeway. And if you're just joining us, this is at Sheldon Road between the Beltway and Spur 330, the road that you take to go to Baytown on I-10. And for those people that are maybe heading back to Louisiana, it's not going to happen this way for quite some time. The other thing is, I don't know whether or not, once this does come to a conclusion, how they're going to get the 18-wheeler out of here, because it has, as you can see, the right front wheel does not have a tire on it. It's dug into the pavement.
Oh, they're pulling up on
the engine is still idling
on the other side
and spinning the wheel.
They turned it off.
The tire, and so what you see smoking there is the wheel friction against the tire, and so.
Maybe they didn't want to show them. They didn't want to show that part. They were walking right up, and then they switched the camera. ABC 13 has a little bit of a delay, but there we can see it again. Bring the K9.
The K9 unit is here.
Coming up on the other side.
Moving in now. Let's see what
they're
happens.
Shooting.
I'm not sure. Are they shooting? Are they shooting inside
ABC
there?
13.
It looks as though that they may be using dummy bullets. There goes the dog. It pulled the dog. There, now the dog is inside. This is coming to an end now, finally. Let's see if the dog, as soon as the dog does
get full screen. Let's get full screen.
With the driver, then you'll see there the officers are going in now.
Damn.
Again, we don't know whether the driver is conscious. They're going to try to go in from the driver's side. I'm going to pull back a little bit here because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Is he hanging on? Can't tell, but it looks as though they're having difficulty getting him out of the cab. Once they get him out, we'll see if he is actually conscious. I don't know.
Wow. They switched it now.
Don, as you pull back, I know this is a very sensitive situation, so we're trying to make sure that we don't show anything that might be too sensitive for folks at home. But again, we just saw the canine went inside the vehicle, the 18-wheeler here, to try to gain control of the suspect that has been refusing to get out for the past almost 4 hours here now as we almost start the 4 o'clock newscast. But it's just a very crazy, intense situation that none of us really have ever seen. So here with me now is Erica Simon. Erica, I'm sure you've been watching this unfold as well, and it's just astonishing to see this type of situation going on.
Unbelievable. You and Nick have been doing a great job of breaking everything down live as it's unfolding. We want to remind viewers that there is a delay. Obviously, as Myra and Nick have been emphasizing, we don't know how this is going to end, so we do have a delay just to make sure we aren't seeing anything drastic or dramatic or tragic. So this is a whole tactical operation that's been going on for hours. Y'all have been through most of it and walking our viewers through it, and we have no idea what's going on with the driver, right? It's the holidays. We don't know if, he's stressed out. We don't know if he, as Don said, if there's, drugs involved in terms of how stoic he was. We just simply don't know.
Is that him?
Can tell you, and what we are seeing is the truck and the cab literally being ripped apart, and there's canines involved now, and also
is that them literally pulling him out? He doesn't want to come out?
Yeah, and it looks like there's a few of the SWAT deputies inside now. Can't tell what they're doing at this point, but we did see the canine go in, and I believe I saw the canine come back out just a few seconds ago. But they're tearing apart this cab and also just trying to get this person out.
A spoiled brat.
Don, were you saying something? Were you able to see what they're doing?
I was just going to say, it appears as though
they're pulling him out,
resisting,
and also just trying to get this person out. Don, were you saying something? Were you able to see what they're doing?
I was just going to say, it appears as though
they're pulling him out,
resisting.
Oh, goodness.
Still fighting?
On the ground.
Yeah, he took a hard fall, too.
Let me pull out just a little bit here while they get this under control. But they have finally got him out, and it appeared as though that he was conscious and holding on, not wanting to get out. I did notice that the canine spent an enormous amount of time in there, which tells me that he was resisting the canine as well. So at least they've got him on the ground and out of the tractor of this 18-wheeler out here on I-10, the Baytown.
He fell hard.
We'll have to see now exactly what happens next. Obviously, they're going to handcuff him if he is conscious, because they're going to have to search him as well while he's on the ground. They don't want to keep their safety at first all the time, and so we just have to make sure that everybody is well and
stubborn,
safe
man.
here. But it looks as though finally, after all these hours,
he's bleeding.
They're bringing this finally to
Your discretion advised.
Here near Baytown.
I wonder if that's from the fall.
Yeah, Don, and we appreciate you staying on top of this with us here as we have been watching this situation unfold. But again, we don't know the state of mind that this person is in. I know the sheriff was mentioning that earlier. When you don't know what kind of person you're dealing with, you have to be extremely careful. But we saw this person sitting there behind the wheel, just a blank stare, really, just staring back at deputies in front of that SWAT vehicle. But now we see that they're about to take this person out, and I'm sure to a hospital to get checked out.
And it looks like, from our vantage, it looks like he's shirtless.
11,000, baby.
Very red. We don't know if those are wounds from the canine.
Reminds me of Cavalcante.
He appears shirtless. He's limping. Probably was bitten on the leg. If the canine
the dog,
officer was in there for quite a bit.
Boy, guys.
Again, very bizarre, that he was sitting there the whole time while it's rocking and all of these strategies were being used. But of course, law enforcement, they're the best at what they do in our area. So they're going to get to the bottom of this. They're going to question him. They're going to presumably get him cleaned up, get him some medical treatment, and we'll get some answers shortly. But for now, we know that this has come to an end where at least this man is alive. We see him walking around.
And again, we don't know what situation he may be dealing with, so we appreciate you guys for joining us here on Eyewitness News at 4 o'clock as we start this hour with this very tense situation that we have been following for quite some time now. And we just saw the end of this situation where a suspect was barricaded inside this 18-wheeler that started as a slow chase at 12:40. It was a 5-mile-per-hour chase, according to the sheriff. And the person did not want to come out, was barricaded for several hours up until now. We saw these deputies approaching, even a canine.
Yeah, this is 3 hours now, roughly, that it took for all of this to come to a conclusion. And mind you, again, this is I-10. This is not a little back road. This is a nationwide interstate that is heavily traveled any day of the week, let alone during the holidays. So, of course, we know a lot of people are at a standstill, been waiting to figure out what's going on. And thankfully, you know, Sky 13 and our technology, we've been able to get that bird's eye view and see right on top of it the whole time. But again, the good news is here, no one appears to be hurt in terms of the man. Obviously, he may have been bitten by the canine, but he's alive, and we don't think any deputies or any of the SWAT officers were hurt. So we'll have to just let this kind of iron out because it's still pretty early in terms of them getting him down and getting him
definitely going to have to update this.
And our Giovanni Ligi has been on the ground monitoring the situation. Any other update, Giovanni, or how is that area feeling to you now with deputies around and possibly some onlookers? Do
we have Giovanni? There he is.
Is currently closed. There are some major traffic implications here at play with Interstate 10 being
just
closed
lucky to be alive, bro.
We just saw that driver get pulled out.
Lucky to be alive.
Time, it's unclear what his mental state was, but deputies were trying everything they could to get him out. You know, this is an 18-wheeler. This is something that could be used as a weapon, something that is incredibly dangerous. We spoke to Sheriff Ed Gonzalez earlier. He told us that this started as just a normal traffic hazard. This was a truck that was stopped in the middle of the road. They came up to it and he took off at a very low rate of speed. And once again, our Sky 13 has been above the scene for several hours now, showing you those images of the doors being ripped off, the driver eventually being pulled out. And once again, deputies just tried to do everything they could to make this end as peacefully as possible.
We try different things. We always try to just kind of use the less force as necessary. I did mention that we did successfully spike the wheels, the tires, a couple of times, and then also I think less lethal type of weapon was utilized.
All my exes live in Texas.
To try to see if we could just gain compliance and get the issue resolved quicker, but that was unsuccessful.
The fire truck leaving.
And once again, some major traffic implications here at play. That 18-wheeler is still on the highway.
We have
a wrecker that's about to come by right now. It appears that he's going to go there, try and pull that truck off of the road, but there's still all of those debris
yanking
in the area
out
on the road. Still unclear what the suspect, the driver, how he's
with
doing.
With the canine on him, too.
Once again, it's still unclear what.
And they had another canine ready to go.
Going forward, you know, this once again is a major highway that is closed. I'm going to step out of the way so that way the record can get through. But there are just so many questions that we're still trying to figure out and ask, and eventually bring to you those answers, guys.
Giovanni, thank you. We know it is still a fluid situation for you there on the ground. Right now, we want to go to Don Armstrong, who is in Sky I-13.
And Myra, I can tell you that as you saw probably that the suspects or patient now has been put into the back of this ambulance here. They're going to stabilize him, and it's going to be a few
he is technically a patient,
until
but
they
it's
get
kind of
that
funny.
situation taken care of to determine exactly what they need to do to get him on the road and to the hospital, clearly under arrest here.
LSAD following stolen vehicle.
Picture because there are going to be charges filed, I can guarantee you, on this suspect that took all afternoon to get out of this 18-wheeler after a slow chase that began somewhere around the Beltway and ended not that far away.
Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the 5.
The truck was only doing about 5 miles an hour when we found it inching down the roadway here on the eastbound lanes of I-10, the Baytown East Freeway. Ended up here just past Sheldon Road. Right now they're bringing in the heavy-duty wrecker, and you're going to see them try to get the SWAT vehicle out of here and get that heavy-duty wrecker hooked up to the 18-wheeler over and get this freeway back open. Finally coming to a close here. SWAT officers, the Rook, as you called it, this machine here was a lifesaver, I believe.
That thing is no joke.
Getting this situation to finally come to an end. And let's not forget the officers that are in the tactical unit and this vehicle here by the Sheriff's Department. It took a while to gather up all of that equipment and get it out here because the traffic is an absolute nightmare, as you can imagine, both on the east and westbound feeders, and of course the main lanes being shut down really doesn't add to the quickness of getting the sponsors out here in this situation. But as you can see, doors are closed on the ambulance. It should be leaving here momentarily, and the wreckers.
I wonder what that conversation is like. The back of the truck. The back of the ambulance.
Don, thank you. Updated resources and technology hard at work. A lot of elements to this story, one of them being traffic. So let's get you over to Elisa Rivas to talk about the fallout from all of this and people presumably being stuck.
We are monitoring our live traffic data and showing you just how bad that backup is.
Wow, so I guess this is the end of a chase. By the way, for people that haven't seen The Rook, I'll just show a few snippets of this. I was just kind of curious if they're going to open that truck too, but The Rook, this thing is no joke.
Our tactical solutions
from 2013.
The Rook, a vehicle utilized by many city, county, state, and federal law enforcement SWAT teams and government agencies. The law enforcement agencies that have incorporated the Rook into their SWAT operations confirm it eliminates exposure in high-risk incidents and provides an additional safe barrier for team members when forced into dangerous.
And apparently this thing has cameras on it too.
Life-threatening situations on SWAT callouts. The Rook is custom built on the Caterpillar engine, 13,000, including operate the Rook. The vehicle moves. Size of the machine. Personnel or hydraulic breaching ram, vehicle extraction tool, and the grapple claw, which add to the Rook's versatility and are all standard with the machine for active engagement on SWAT calls. The ease of mounting attachments is
of course it has attachments to
deployment platform.
Look at that armor deployment.
Hydraulic connects and disconnects when hydraulics are needed. One of the Rook's standard attachments is the armored deployment platform. This custom-built NIJ center sliding door and back wing doors office and operator the options to a situation and used as a fortified position. The platform's and meters in reducing the risk hydraulic. This attachment uses pressure of 6,500 psi extend out from 6 to 10 feet and give a controlled breach of just a specific window or up to block walls, reinforced protected by gas deployment system.
Gas deployment too.
Cameras,
one infrared camera and 4 low light video cameras.
On each side of the ram, giving its operator a 360-degree view of the breaching area.
I think it's dope, man. So the truck is there. I guess they're I don't know what they're. Maybe they're cooling that thing. Maybe it's a fire hazard. The tire that's been spinning all this time. They haven't opened up the back, but maybe it's like the news said earlier. Maybe they did check the back already.
All of the things behind the scenes and everything live right now.
And Erica, the good thing that we're seeing right now, the other side of the highway, the traffic is finally flowing. I know it would stop on both directions, but now folks are able to make their way down the East Freeway here.
That's a welcome
fairly smoothly.
Yes. On that side at least. So the other part will have to, of course, be patient and just kind of wait it out. But definitely not good for the drivers there. But life happens. Things happen. And in this case, as far as we know, no one was severely hurt or lost their life
Train Monkey,
today.
thank you for the super chat, Liz. Thank you for the super chat.
Professional our law enforcement crews are, the tactical.
Jennifer Cochran, thank you for the super chat. Familia, Becky Blaze, thank you. Said 10K plus watching, Mel. Congrats, much love. Thank you, Becky. Coffee Thoughts, how's this dude spinning the wheel? Janice, thank you for the 10 earlier. Says Mel, they have to deal with this quick because national security. They are right on the largest chemical plant concentration. I am 3 miles from it. I didn't know that. There's the baby.
In the humble home that you were talking about.
There's the baby.
Saw all the way through close to midnight, Eric and I. And so we're very familiar with what this guy can do. And yeah, it's definitely needed in situations where you just aren't getting the results you're looking for. And a lot of time has gone by, and it protects life. You know, they're not having to send their guys in harm's way per se, but the Rook can go in and get some immediate results, looks like, in 2 cases that I've seen. You know, the one in Humble and then now get immediate results in terms of at least opening things up and allowing them to get a clearer look.
Walks up the curb, goes up the curb, the sidewalk.
A canine dog, and
bulletproof.
Yeah.
Bulletproof, a heavy piece of machinery that has proven 2 times now, live on air, that it is a great tool for this department to have to protect themselves and to bring a tense situation like the one that we just saw to a peaceful end.
Took hours, but obviously that's why we have leaders and people in charge who make these decisions. The law enforcement, they took their time. They got the machinery in place. It took some time, probably with the traffic backup, but they made what looks like the right call because, again, they were able to get this man out alive and figure out what's going on with him. And it doesn't appear that any deputies or SWAT officers are hurt either. So for them, that would be...
Yeah.
There you go, baby.
And now
Open
I'm wondering, I doubt if we ever saw the license plate of this 18-wheeler, wondering if this is a Texas vehicle here. I know the last situation, the last 18-wheeler chase we had was a man out of Florida. It just makes you wonder, too, if this is local.
Can't really see. And also, our producer, Laura, just told us they were waiting on a possible news conference as well, but with updated information. We know it's happening in just a minute. We're kind of standing by, waiting for that. Of course, we'll bring it to you as soon as it starts. But you see that American flag kind of draped on the side of the cab.
That was so crazy, man. When they busted that thing open from the side.
Usually they do say kind of where it's from on the side, or we'll see a license plate. Nothing's really obvious right now, but we'll have to see, because this is an interstate. Of course, it could have came from anywhere.
And we'll find out soon enough all of the details, and we'll see who this person is, and it will be interesting to see, as Dawn was saying, the mugshot of this person that was behind the wheel and refusing to come out. Again, we're monitoring this news conference that's about to start here soon. We will take a break, and we will see you on the other side of it.
There might be a chase, but I don't know. Pursuit, is it too far from media? Looks like a chase. Vehicle has yielded. Traffic is being blocked. PubScan tweeted there might be a chase. All right. So I think they stopped here. I don't know if this is the new one or they're replaying the old one.
Themselves as safely as possible to extract them out. They've extracted them out.
This is it.
Still don't know why he was acting in the erratic manner that he was. It does appear to be some heavy impairment, but I'll let them kind of make those determinations there. Just from the naked eye, that's what it appears to me. The back of the container truck is empty. They're going to pull the truck off right now so they could inspect it a little bit further, but there's nothing inside the container itself.
Nothing inside. Okay.
And that's the information that we have right now. Lo tuvimos que sacar físicamente porque.
Well, we got some kind of answer, at least, that there's nobody in the back. I wonder what this guy's affiliation is to the truck. Mental health. I don't even know. Who knows these days, right? They said he seemed maybe impaired.
They don't know for sure, but he says that it appears that there is perhaps some impairment on the part of this driver. But again, they had all the concerns.
Oh, they lost the vehicle, the chase.
Erratic driving when the chase began, and with such a large and powerful vehicle, that is what sort of set off all of these events. That erratic driving, they weren't sure who they were dealing with or what the issue was.
Brandy, thank you for the super chat. Says, good job, Mel. Made my day go by faster. But we killed at least 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Okay. We'll continue
none
to
that we know of immediately.
monitor.
We're going to pull the trailer off to a more safe location so we can inspect it more fully and determine what we have or what we're dealing with.
It did kind of look like he had blood on his face and neck when he was arrested. Was he hit by those non-lethals or possibly the canine got him?
I'm not sure. We did have to move a canine in there. They did have to physically remove him out. He was holding on. It appeared that he was still in a driving motion, still revving up the engine, appearing like he was driving. So, but just had to get him out physically.
Folks, thank you for the 19 months, man. Appreciate it.
If those were self-inflicted or from the less lethal.
19 is a lie. Subscribe for more content.
Or from some of the physical contact that they may have had with him, or from the dog itself.
Sure, we're live right now. One side of the highway is back open, the other side still near
Yeah, we're working right now as we speak. The team's trying to get the truck out, so I do hear traffic finally moving, so we're happy about that. So I'm not sure which side is moving, but hopefully we could get traffic moving here shortly. Sí, estamos intentando en este momento ya de abrir las carreteras para que puedan.
I feel like these people should be made to publicly apologize, like on national TV, after they do their time and crime or whatever. Apologize to the police and the public and all the people that were endangered and all this stuff. It's like these people disappear into the abyss after. You never hear from them again.
No weapons found in our initial search. Doesn't mean that there's not something under the seat or anything like that. Our main thing was just to get them out safely, secure them, try to make sure that we could contain the scene better. The truck will be moved off the roadway so we could better inspect to see if weapons were in the mix in this.
True, Barefoot.
Or what else was at play. So, but none that were visible at a cursory look from any of the observations made by SWAT deputies.
La identidad.
No sé todavía, no me han confirmado exactamente.
About the identity.
No pude ver, tenía sangre, no sé si es parece ser o hispano o un anglosajón.
¿Y esas heridas eran de él o?
No sabemos si tuvimos que poner un canine, un perro dentro de la troca. También físicamente lo tuvimos que sacar. No sé si las heridas fueron del mismo.
Yeah, that guy was stubborn as hell, man. They literally had to yank his ass out. They tore the truck up, ripped it to pieces, tore the door off, popped a hole into the window, smoked it out, sent the canine, and the other guy from the Bearcat shooting into the thing, all these non-lethals, and even with all that, they still had to like yank and yoke his ass out of that vehicle.
And who he is and what happened, what led to this. Pues depende, no sé de qué estaba huyendo, no sé si tenga antecedentes, no sé si era una persona que hemos estado buscándolo por alguna cosa o también solamente por huir de las autoridades puede cargar cargos de felonía también. Entonces eso lo vamos a tratar de resolver y depende también si estaba trasladando algo de narcóticos o algo que no hemos visto inmediatamente.
Sheriff, is there any chance this driver could face any kind of charges?
Oh, absolutely. I think that he'll be facing some type of charge. What it is, it just kind of depends. Anything from evading, obviously, to depending if he had anything in cargo that was invisible to the naked eye right now that we'll be able to check. So that'll be part of it. And we don't know if he's maybe possibly wanted for something or impaired as well.
How challenging was this entire incident to resolve?
It's very challenging. Our team, I was talking to them briefly because every scene is a different component. This one, it was like an 18-wheeler, but we've had things anywhere from bridges over the Port of Houston to vehicles to residences. So they try to prepare as much as they can with all types of things. Y'all may have seen the Rook pass through here, or equipment that's been very valuable and successful many times. So it's a combination of a lot of things. And again, like I said earlier, I trust our team to make sound decisions as they did.
That has to be kind of a cool job, right? Driving that Rook.
And so
it seems relatively safe.
Especially because he continued to resist even with deployment of gas. Most times, most people with that, it's pretty toxic. They're going to come out pretty quickly. Didn't seem to faze him.
And this is an 18-wheeler. This is
correct.
Used as a weapon.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's a very powerful vehicle. If he was behind the wheel and revving that engine. So, however, it came to this. I'm glad we were able to intervene because if he would have remained on the roadway, other people could have been in serious risk had we not tried to contain it as best we could. Again, under challenging circumstances. So kudos to all first responders, our deputies, Lieutenant Calhoun and Sergeant Kerry Salas. That was the first one on the scene. Great job by them and our SWAT team as well. And we obviously thank the business as well. We know that they were impacted, especially those along the feeder. Sure. Any quick follow, just closing questions, so then I'll move to another.
Earlier, I asked you, had this driver acknowledged anything as you guys use different tactics, talking in English, talking in Spanish. When you finally got that driver outside, did they say anything, acknowledge?
He's remained unresponsive the whole time. Didn't answer to commands. That's what I'm saying. Just at a, from the naked eye, it appears to be some level of impairment. We don't know what the issue is, but never really responded. We gave him multiple commands and spoke to him to no avail.
And real quick, if you could just speak to the manpower that's out here, what agencies is this to?
Yeah, no, we also are working closely with our Precinct 3 constables out here assisting with traffic mobility. Obviously, the patrol deputies are out here. We have SWAT in place. We have K9. We had a wide array of personnel out here at the scene. So at approximately 1 p.m., one of our units spotted a vehicle that appeared to be parked in the middle of the main lanes outbound along Freeport at the East Freeway. At that time, didn't know quite what he had. It could have been just a medical emergency of some kind, or what we often refer to as a traffic hazard, just blocking the roadway, impacting traffic. When he turned on his overheads, the vehicle, the truck, the driver proceeded to drive forward. Didn't go at a high rate of speed.
Use the restroom.
Continue forward, and then when he started doing some evasive action, changing multiple lanes, of swerving in and out of different lanes, the alert, just safety risk went up higher. They did try to deploy some spikes. They were successful, immobilizing at least two of the tires, but the driver continued moving forward. Eventually came to a rest here just east of Sheldon on the outbound main lanes. We attempted numerous things from less lethal weapon to eventually smoke, K9, verbal commands, negotiation, to no avail. He appeared to be behind the wheel, just appearing to be in a glaze, just revving the truck like if he was still driving. And we were concerned that he would perhaps eventually go forward and continue to wreak more havoc or put more people at risk. So we had a very challenging situation because we could potentially have a moving situation along the roadway. So eventually we're able to be successful in gaining entry into the cab and eventually physically pulling him out. So at about 4 o'clock it was finally resolved, and that's what we have right now. Now we'll kind of determine from the aftermath what led to all this.
Do you have an ID on this?
Not yet. It appears to be either Hispanic male or white male. We don't know if he's the actual driver of the truck or the company and all that. All that will be worked out. And obviously he'll be ID'd. So as soon as we get that information, we'll share it in terms of his name and any charges that are applicable.
Any idea what? I mean, obviously there was a lot behind this. Any idea why he did this?
No idea. Don't know if he may have been wanted for something, if there was some kind of criminal nexus to this. The trailer appeared to be empty. We don't know if there's any compartments or anything. We have Kane and others here on scene, so we'll look a little bit closer. Just from his unresponsiveness, the zero effect from the deployed gas and other things could have been heavily impaired. Just from the naked eye, it appeared to have a high level of impairment, which again was scary that he was driving that and was on the roadways prior to us reaching him. But we'll kind of try to piece it together as best we can.
You said there was evasive maneuvers.
Yeah, he was swerving in and out of the traffic once we were behind him. He wasn't going in a straight line at some point. And so eventually, thankfully, he didn't travel too far. It was never a high rate of speed. And it was a straight shot all the way down, and eventually came to a stop here, I guess, after the spikes took effect on the tires, and he finally came to a stop.
Property or anything like that?
No property damage that we know of other than the vehicle, the truck itself. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you.
What a wild ass standoff. I need to I should probably do a compilation or list my favorite standoffs. This might be close up there. I mean, the one where they tore down the house in Texas. Maybe I should make a playlist for people that like watching that stuff. And then there was the one where the guy was doing whippets. It was a police chase where a guy was inhaling and doing whippets while driving. And then at the end, it ended up being like a standoff where he was just taking the whippets to the head, just like chilling, and they were trying to smoke him out. It was crazy. Somebody said whole diabetes, diabetic of stroke. Oh, you guys are trying to think about what medical condition he has. I don't think it was a stroke. I mean, a stroke, he would, I don't know. He might not even be alive, honestly, if it took that long. Well, it depends what kind of stroke, I guess, but that long period of time that if he had a stroke, that he didn't have any medical attention. I don't think so. Yeah, yo, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. So somebody was asking me if I was going to update the whole the woman story. I've been wow, bro, this is just so intense. When you look at this, I was doing some research a little bit today, and I was gathering information. I would like to come back later. And can you link the Texas one? Yeah, you should check it out, bro. That Texas one. Oh my God. Sorry, I called you. Oh yeah, cool. The Texas one. Let's see if I can link it. It was just wild, bro. I couldn't believe what was going on. Texas. And also thank you for the people that subscribe, man. I really appreciate the help. Just subscribing, and make sure you turn on all notifications. The Standoff, let's see, it was a live. Texas. Oh, this is it. It's 3 hours long. This video should have had more views too. I don't know how it didn't have that many views, but okay, so I'm gonna drop it in the chat if you want to check it out. It was pretty wild. The ending is wild, the middle is wild, the way they tear the house down, the drones, the robot dog, like everything that they did. Crazy house gets torn apart. And I put the link in the description as well. So yeah, I was looking into the whole thing with pregnant woman.
Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes.
It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting podcast. We're the Draft Dudes.
How many tight ends in the NFL?
Let me mute this. Let me find out where that's coming from. I don't even know where that's playing. Found it. Okay. Yeah, I want to do an update with that story that we covered yesterday. I already had pulled up some links. I was waiting on something, so I don't know where it's at. Okay, this is I'll just mention this, but I'm not gonna go. So the family of the boyfriend was requesting to speak to media. This was more than 2 hours ago, but I haven't refreshed the page. And said, speaking on behalf of Matthew Guerrero's father, if anyone, so this is Matthew's stepmother, they want to get their side of the story out. So they requested to speak with media, and I saw a bunch of people commenting under it, even some media people. So I was waiting because I didn't feel there's any rush really. I was waiting till more develops, and I'd like to come back on tonight. The hell is that on the road? That's just a random dog? Was that a wolf? Coyote? What is that? What was that? Someone in the chat, tell me. Where's the link to the crazy house? I put it in the description, but I'll drop it in the chat again too. Crazy house gets torn. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting because I wanted to see if the family is going to do an interview and stuff. And so I was like, let me hold out just a little bit because I want to have things that we can talk. As a coyote, I want to have things that we can talk about and chat about. So I'm thinking more like in a couple hours, maybe 2-3 hours. Oh, if you didn't see it, check out yesterday's stories. This story about a pregnant woman and her boyfriend that went missing, and they were found yesterday. And it's a really suspicious story. Not only that, the woman was pregnant, right? So the woman that was pregnant, she had a sibling, a brother that like a year ago he was murdered. Some people are speculating that her being allegedly tied up and shot with the boyfriend has something to do with that situation, but I don't know if that's true or not. It's a really kind of messy story. It's all over the place. And there might have been a chase. Let me see. KTL's not going. ETA 30 minutes? Yeah, forget that. anytime it's like more than 10 minutes ETA, like probably not gonna happen. So they open up the back of this. They open up the back. The place is a mess. Gonna need a cleanup crew. Yeah, they were found dead in a car. I don't know. I don't think in the trunk. I heard one person was sitting in the front. The other person was in the back. Allegedly, they were tied up. And allegedly, they had been there for like 2 or 3 days, their bodies. And when she went missing, I think she was, I don't know if she was scheduled to go to the hospital that day or the next day to be induced for birth. Like she was literally about to have the baby, like 9 months pregnant. What happened to AXN? Please don't support AXN. What happened with him? He's always been good to the channel. Something happened? Oh my God. What about the woman with the ripped off the top of the trailer with the doggos hanging out of the side? Yeah, that was crazy. Well, we're approaching the new year. I don't know what are you guys doing for New Year's? I'm about to jump off, but just kind of curious. I don't have any plans. Sometimes I just hang out with the family. Sometimes we go to a restaurant, or sometimes we just stay home. I don't like to be with crowds, especially during big things like that. One cleaning, 15 watching. They're throwing it back in the truck. Getting drunk or not, LOL, I don't know. Some people just sleep. Yeah, some people don't bother going out. Some people just go to sleep. I don't feel the need to do anything crazy. I'm very kind of low key. And yeah, XN's been super nice to me. I'm very low key. I'm not into, I mean, maybe back in the day, I'm not going to be partying or doing anything crazy. The other thing I really do with family is like we go to this restaurant sometimes. It's like a more mature group. It's a Caribbean restaurant. And there's like an outside area and they got like a fireplace. Sometimes we go there. We just have some drinks, eat some appetizers, and, you know, do the countdown. But I'm just as happy doing it at home too. Tinzel says that boy got her killed. I wonder. Hanging out with the Robinson crew? Sounds nice. I really want to do an end of times stream soon, but I just have to find clips. For some reason, I haven't been able to find them like I used to. I'm not sure what's up with that. But if I spend some time, I'll find it. Some good stuff. The only thing that sucks is like I have to pre-screen everything. That's the thing now that really, really sucks. But with YouTube and their guidelines and how strict they've gotten, you just have to be really careful. Like, I don't know if you guys remember too, like last year, there was one point, I think it was during the Johnny Depp trial, I had 2 strikes on my channel. One more and the channel would have been gone. Like, how crazy is that to think how close I was, right? To like, and it was because those types of videos. Now I have nothing on my channel. Plus, they gave me a chance to wipe out my warning too. So I was able to wipe out my warning, which is really nice. So I'm completely clean on the channel now. Why does FB have to clean up mess SWAT left behind? You like to live on the edge, Mel? To me, yeah, I wonder who's cleaning up. Is it the fire department? Oh, they're towing it away on the fire truck. I didn't even know fire trucks could do that. No, you know what? I never got a strike from Law and Crime. Surprisingly. They never bothered me. I've heard of people getting strikes from them. I think they've stopped. I think they've chilled out. They used to do that. I think they've, like, I don't know, they backed it off. There's only one person that I somewhat know over there, kind of, that I ran into, that if I ever did get a strike, maybe she would help me out if I reached out to her. I don't know. Somebody texted me and said, did you hear that Lisa got a new attorney? Not a fire truck, it's a heavy tow, just red. Oh. Oh, I thought that was a fire truck. And apparently nothing inside. Yeah, the truck's cleared. They cleaned up the mess. I guess they're gonna tow that part. Hold on. Nobody knows what happened with the driver. The police said that they suspect he was impaired, you know, but they yanked his ass out. It was pretty dramatic when they took him out. It was crazy. You should see it. Rewind if you haven't seen it. But beyond that, no, we don't know. There was something else. I can't remember now. It slipped my mind. Oh, I meant to mention this earlier too, real quick. I don't know if you guys heard. Apparently, Elon's robot, one of the robots, the automated things, attacked a worker. Tesla factory worker attacked by a robot that dug its claw into the back and arm. A Tesla software engineer suffered serious injuries when he was attacked by a malfunctioning robot on the floor of the electric car maker's factory in Austin, Texas. Witnesses told the information last month that the robot, which was designed to move aluminum car parts, pinned the engineer and sank its metal claws into his back and arm, leaving a trail of blood along the floor. The engineer was programming software that controls robots whose job it is to cut car parts from freshly cast pieces of aluminum. While two of the robots were disabled so that the engineer and his crew could work on the machines, a third was inadvertently left on, resulting in the attack 2 years ago. Witnesses told the information. The news site said it obtained an injury report that was submitted to the federal officials as well as health authorities in Travis County. The engineer suffered a laceration, cut, or wound on his left, according to the information, left hand. Yeah, bro. Tesla declined to comment. Robots coming alive. AI technology. All right, well, I guess I'm going to call it. I'll get off of here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'll see if I come back in a few hours and we can kind of go over some of the updates with the other story. All right. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. Good night. Love you guys. And peace. Adios. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, 2 years ago. It's kind of weird, right? Pursue the robot.